Grand Rising, Grand Rising.
Grand Rising, Chief Sophia. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. This is really exciting.
Yeah, wow, I didn't realize, or I mean, I didn't really think about how you were going to outline the days, nor did I even think that numerology obviously was going to be so instrumental in understanding each day.
Your surprise is also my surprise. I had no idea this is where this was going to lead. And it's so fascinating because it includes all the different aspects of everything. Like all of the sort of like schizo things they try to tell people is like, oh, you guys are reaching, you've gone too far, you're doing this, you're doing that. It literally encompasses all of that and it makes it simple. This stuff. It's not even hard. It's not rocket science. It's not complicated. It is extremely easy, and I am, like I said, as surprised as you are.
And what are the odds? It's only 1 through 9. There is no more.
Listen, they've even made it complicated because the people who teach the Chaldean numerology, when I started looking into it, because I looked into numerology a long time ago. Of course, everyone knows who that Gary the Numbers guy, and all these different kind of people talking about numerology. So I had looked into it, and I was not a fan of Pythagoras because I just intuitively knew he didn't know what he was talking about. And I have a sixth sense for these kind of things. And so I was never intending on getting into numerology. So there is a girl online, she has a calendar, which I started incorporating into my daily reports that I was doing in 2024, mostly 2023 and 24. And it was all helpful. The numbers were adding up, but I never like went in and calculated the numbers myself. Now, I don't say she's an enemy, but I always say never let your enemies calculate your feast days. So before I would be willing to get back into it, I was going to have to go and do some digging. So, like I said, not in the last call, but the one before, when my car had the problem and all of that, and I got delayed by a whole day, that was the same day I had found this Chaldean numerology. And I dove into it because in Pythagorean numerology, every letter in the alphabet is assigned a number, or all the numbers 1 through 9 are all assigned a letter. Now that's a problem because 9, because of what we learned from the Babylonian calendar and the Roman calendar, we know that 9 and 0 are the same. So you can't assign numbers to 9. Like you just can't. So this Chaldean numerology fits directly in. And the Chaldean numerology is the numerology that the Hebrews use. So these weird numbering systems that they give people on how they do things is probably totally wrong. A complete lie. And I know it is because I have 6 volumes of alleged Hebrew magic that don't work. And it's because it's not paired with the numerology properly. That's how you decode the book. Because I was like, why would this man write this book with all these secrets in it? What would be the point of that? And the point of it is you can't decode it if you don't know what the number system is. So now that I figured that part out, I can probably make some pretty good use of those 6 volumes of books that I have. That's like 400 and some pages each. I didn't know the numbers behind it. I didn't. I even though people always say numbers is what the matrix runs off of, it never occurred to me that numbers is what the real planet runs off of too. They just made it seem, oh, the matrix is all zeros and ones. Okay, so what about the rest of the numbers? Where do they fit? They never talk about that. It never occurred to me that there was more to it.
Wow, wow. Yeah, this is really, because I mean, it's getting deep now. It's getting deep, but as you said, also,
Yes.
it's very simple. It is like it's so, like, so in understanding the days based on understanding the numbers, you begin to basically, as the days pass and as you are living in those days, you're able to align yourself energetically to that flow. And it makes a lot of
Right.
sense why, like, the 9 would be essentially the market day, because that's the graduation, that's like the climax
Right.
of what you
Right.
did the last few days. And also understanding, okay, well, how do I make the most out of my market day? What does the 9 even
Right.
represent? And the
Right.
9, in at least on the cardology side that I've been studying, is disappointment or fulfillment. You if
Either
you have been
or.
Yeah, if you have been doing the work, you achieve fulfillment. If you have not been doing the work, you're gonna find disappointment. So it's very interesting how, like, the I mean, they really have, like, they have systematically dumbed humanity down to a point where now, as we rise back up, it's like we had fake chains. We didn't, it's like we've
Right,
been
exactly.
enslaved, but it's like it's like the elephant, right? The elephant from birth
Right.
has, like, that chain, but then you look at it and it's like, yo, this elephant could literally just, like, move a step and it's off.
Right.
And that's what I
Right.
feel like we're doing,
Exactly.
especially with you bringing this calendar. It's like, finally, we can understand what the heck we're doing every single day.
Right, right. And it's a internal system and an external system. So I had mentioned this when I was talking about the calendar, but the market days are A1 through 9, and usually the ninth day is the market day. But on a personal side, when I calculated, added the numbers together, whatever I did, which I think I did um the market day number plus the week number to give you the personal number. So that system is how you deal with yourself on the inside. So in the standard Chaldean numerology, they have all these compound numbers, and the compound number system it probably has a usefulness, but we got to start with the basic 1 through 9 system before we start doing a bunch of compound numbers. And we got to really feel what 1 through 9 feels like, so that when we start doing the compound numbers, it'll make more sense. So, like, I'm breaking it down to 1 through 9, but believe me, the Chaldean numerology, it actually has multiple sets of compound numbers, and they have an actual, it's called a numeral graph, but it's really like their tree, like it's a number tree. And it tells you, like, who about who you are, what you're going to be like, your destiny number, your path number. And this number tree is based off your date of birth, and your full name. These are all things that the government collects. So they literally could have a software, like I said, like 2 3 years ago, where when you're born and your parents give that name, all they need is your name and your date of birth. They don't even need your location. See, with astrology, you need a location, you need a time, you need, oh, no. With the with the Chaldean numerology, all you need is the date of birth and the child's full name, which they collect before you leave out the hospital, and the government keeps the records. And I'm sure, for 100% fact, they take all that information, throw it in the little system, and they know exactly who to target and why, and what to target on them. I mean, the magic, the sheer black magic that can be done with this is nuts. This is why they don't like people being anonymous, because they don't know your date of birth, they don't know your full name. And when they can take those two things, literally those two things alone, and figure out how to target their propaganda towards you specifically, it is insane.
Wow. And it's, it's this has definitely not helped for sure in terms of, kind of a lot of the people that have stood up to the system. There's been a lot of, brave warriors that have stood up to the system and unfortunately not been able to, I guess in some ways overthrow it, or stand, or
Right,
really, like, be able to bring it to its knees. But what I feel is almost like it's like something has broken off, where now their magic, it's actually like this specific magic, as you said, like, under, because so what they've been doing is, as you said, let's say that they do have this system and they are kind of throwing this black magic, is when we learn to absorb that energy as opposed to fall prey to it. And I think obviously understanding the calendar is going to be a very valuable asset to support us in this endeavor. Is they're going to realize, and I'm sure they're already realizing it, that the black magic actually now is empowering us further, because we now
right.
have the ability to absorb the energy and alchemize it to be not black magic anymore. And sure, yeah, we've had to go through a lot of ups and downs. I mean, obviously, everybody goes through ups and downs, but now not only do we have the ability to absorb the energy that is being directed to us, but we're able to alchemize it. But now we're able to flow with the energy of the day, in terms of
Right.
the day that's supposed to be played. They don't know how to attack us now. They don't know how to, basically, they're gonna have to make a move in physical. And I
Oh yeah, because there's no way there's nothing they can do because like you mentioned in the past, people were trying to attack the system. I don't care about the system. The system can do what it's going to do. We're over here doing something else. See, they couldn't
yeah,
handle that.
right.
They wanted
Uh-huh.
us to say, we're going to, like, we did a fast to take back the kingdom. But they thought that we meant take back their kingdom. I don't care about their
Yeah,
kingdom.
it sucks. Their
The
kingdom
creator has
sucks.
cattle on 1,000 hills. Why do I need your kingdom? Like,
Uh-huh.
they didn't think we would read the Bible. Again, it's in the Bible, but how many people read the Bible and really believe it? Like, not a lot. So if you know your father has a cattle on 1,000 hills, why do you need their ratchet kingdom? It's ratchet, it's dirty, it stinks. I don't want it. Like, I just built a new kingdom. They never ever expected that. This is a total sideswipe to them. And as an aside, the reason why this has come through the way that it did is because of Cleopatra. So I did not realize it was like a whole Netflix documentary about her. I mean, I did, but I don't watch media, I don't consume media. So I didn't understand like this whole thing with them complaining that Cleopatra in the Netflix thing was black. Well, of course she was black. Like, I just don't even understand what's wrong with, like, I don't understand what's wrong with these people. Like, these things should not be like mysteries, but they're always complaining, oh, they're making everybody black, this and that. But the planet was black. Before, I mean, lighter skin is a genetic difference. Like, I don't understand what the problem is. We have light skinned black people. Like, I've said this before. A lot of the anthropologists from the early 1900s, the late 1800s, a lot of these people out here that say that they're white are not white. They're just passing black. And a black person can look at them and say, that ain't no, that's not a white person. That's clearly a passing black person, because I had made this whole theory about the fact that the silent generation, which is Pluto and Cancer, if they could pass for white, they did because of the extreme racism towards darker skinned people. So, in order to preserve their bloodline, if they could pass for black, they did. That's why you had Madam C.J. Walker and her whole perm kits and all this stuff come into huge success, because you had all of these Negro women passing as literally passing as white, that their hair ain't passed the test. And a black man, if people don't know, if he shaves his head, you'll never know whether he's black or white. And a lot of black men, their hair grows out of their head straight anyway, like especially their beards. So if you can't really tell if that's their real hair and their beards grow out straight, how do you know that they're black? You wouldn't. Like, you literally wouldn't know. So only black people can look at another black person and tell, like, it's just a certain energy the features give off. But if they're living as a white person around all other people who look like them, exactly like them, you would never know. And a few years ago, there was like a bunch of people like in the South who were white women marrying white men, giving birth to black babies, and they were like, it was a whole like scandal. I would say maybe it was like 2019, 2018. It was this whole scandal because they were the man was obviously like, that's not my child because as a black child, and the woman was like, I don't have, I haven't been with another partner. They do the DNA test. He is the father. How did this happen? Well, Mima lied. Mima lied. She was black the whole time, not just half black, full black. She married a white man, and literally, it doesn't necessarily come out in the next generation. Sometimes it's the third generation. Sometimes it's the fourth generation. You don't know when those genes are going to flare back up, especially if he also had a grandparent that lied. So a lot of these people that died during COVID, keep in mind, a lot of them were liars, like not on purpose, not maliciously, but they lied. They lied about a lot of stuff. And so that's why the boomers are the way that they are. Like we always put the blame on the boomers, but remember, they were raised by the silent generation who were prolific liars, like for no reason. Like if you met a cancer person, you know they lie. It just flows out of their mouth, and you're like, did you mean that? Like that's not what you said before. Now you're saying something different. That's that whole generation. They're a generation of liars, and so you have all of these problems coming up. But back to Cleopatra. So 3 years ago, before I got into Bardone stuff, because the guy that I was following, the YouTuber, he had kept asking the question, who's the angel over Virgo? Who's the angel over Virgo? And I'm like, y'all don't know how to do any research? Why don't y'all go and look? So I was on this path, about to hit pay dirt with Cleopatra, and then these people sideswiped me and had me go down this angel route with these spirit intelligences. Big mistake. Because now, like I told my friend earlier, now when we come into our kingdom, we don't have to waste time with these spirit intelligences. We can go straight to the Saints, for one, who always show up, always do the job, 100% success rate, and a few of the different spirit intelligence that work. We don't have to invest no time in that. We can go straight to the ones who work, forget the ones who don't, and keep moving forward. So it was a huge benefit because if we had come into the kingdom before, like the actual abundance before, we would have spent a lot of time and money trying to figure out these energies. But because we did that part first, now we don't. So this is why this matters. I made a video about covenants and consecration. And in that video, I talk about how you have to consecrate the stuff that you're going to be working with. And another word for consecration is enchantment. So now you're starting to see, like I've seen several people now, and it's going to become a much huger talking point now that I'm saying it. People have been saying, actually, I heard Pam Gregory, she's an astrologer, she said that anyway, if people were more enchanting, 35% of people, if 35% of humanity were more enchanting, meaning they consecrated their items that they use before they use them, then this thing would be over way faster. I think we're way past 35%. I think we're
Okay,
way
so can
past
you so
35%.
can you repeat that? So if
If
everybody
35% of humanity was more enchanting, this matrix would be done overnight. And I think it's way more than that. I think it's way more than 35%. So what is an enchantment? Like, and this goes into this because really with this numerology, you're enchanting your day. You know the number for the day, the energy for the day. You're setting the intention for that day based on the natural flow of the energy. This is a scientific process. So enchanting is basically when you take a for example, um I use the term consecrate. So before I do a process, right? I will consecrate that piece of paper. Let's say a paper, right? Or let's say a candle. I do a lot of candle stuff. I will consecrate that candle first. And my consecration is I put a saint picture on there. I put crosses on it. I put herbs or flowers, scents, whatever inside of my candle. That is an enchanting process. And I put my intention of what I want to see happen into that candle. That's an enchanting process. We do this all day, but we don't think about it. When we become conscious of it, I think that's what she really meant. Not when 35% of people are doing it. When they become conscious of what they're doing, I don't think we're at that point consciously. This is when this whole system gets upside down because imagine just one person, me, saying, I want to know what is today? What's the calendar? And then I literally set on this whole vision quest to figure out what the day was because I didn't want my enemies to calculate my feast days. I knew that didn't make any sense to me. So all of that to add to get to this answer of how I can stop allowing my enemies to calculate my feast days. This has been an enchanting process. A lot of times you do it like when you like if you buy a piece of jewelry and you say every time I wear this ring, every time I wear this necklace, whatever, or when you buy crystals and you say I want this a quartz crystal. Quartz crystal is good for clearing your energy. And you say I want this quartz crystal to help me clear my energy. That's enchanting. And this matters because I was watching a channeler who was channeling Cleopatra, and basically she said that um, people didn't do magic the way that these wicked, evil people do magic. They were more enchanting. She used that word. With the person who was doing the channeling, that's not a word he would use. And therefore, I was like, okay. So then when I looked up what enchanting meant and I looked for some, how do you enchant stuff? I was like, oh my gosh, I did a whole video on this covenants and consecration. That was all the way back in like July of 2022. So I was already on this track with Cleopatra leading the way, guiding the path, and had no idea because she's a queen. The reason why this matters is she's a queen. The problem with divine feminine and divine masculine, just divine people, is that we don't know how to be royalty. We are out here behaving as peasants, thinking it's royalty. We got to get back on the right channel. One of the things she said in the channeling was that as a queen, she did not leave the house that much. Her house was set up real nice. She didn't leave the house that much. Every blue moon, she would go out amongst the people. But most of the time, she would send her people out to get her stuff for her, to take notes on what's going on. She would bring them back in and she would talk to them one by one to see what the problems of the people were so that she could solve them. That's what we're supposed to do. Look at how Trump is operating. He's not flying all over the world meeting with these people. He's making them come to him. That's the sign. That is the image of what we need to do in our divineness. These whoever rich people, they're not supposed to be what they're doing is what we're supposed to be doing. And what we're doing, they're supposed to be doing. They literally turn this system inside out. So all we have to do again is stand up, take control of our calendar, take control of our energy. They're gonna have to be flying around trying to figure out how they're gonna get us to do this and how they're gonna get us to do that. And these people, these Americans ain't buying none of our stuff. And what are we gonna do? And how are we gonna solve this problem? They're gonna be running around like chickens with their heads cut off. And we're gonna be sitting in the house. Some of us are, at least.
Wow, yeah, it's funny because, I have been literally, like, in the house like a hermit for,
Right,
at this point, like, a year and a half almost, and this is, like, the longest that I've been in the house, and like, I do go out to the park every day, but, that's the amount of people I see at the park, it's like nobody, and the only
right,
times that I really go out is to get groceries, and that's always, like, an experience.
right,
It's as you were saying with Cleopatra, like, it's almost like there's something about your energy really charges up when you are isolated, when you
right,
don't when you're not just out and about all the time, and I feel it anytime I go to, like, New York City, the intensity, the potency, like, it's unreal, unreal.
Right.
So it's very
Right.
interesting, and then lastly, on the Cleopatra side, from my side, I was on TikTok, and there was a video about Cleopatra. This was, must have been, like, 4 days ago or something, and it was about a little girl that basically, like, kept saying that she, like, served Cleopatra, and
Right.
that it was basically she was saying that, like, um, she was, like, deathly afraid because I guess she must have done something to, like, show her disloyalty to Cleopatra, so she was lives later, she was freaking out about it, and I don't remember what exactly she was saying, but it was very interesting that that name came up, and now that you're talking about Cleopatra, I mean, and I never hear about Cleopatra. But what are the
No.
odds that the last few days this random video comes out about I guess a servant of hers, you know, basically
Well, the
like
guy, the guy that I was watching, he also said he was one of her servants when he was doing the channeling,
wow.
and I was like, man, this is so. It's crazy that you're saying that. You didn't even see what I see. This the video I saw. The guy made like 4 years ago. So this energy has been
Mm.
because Cleopatra means father loving goddess, father loving. So it wasn't a name; it was a title. It was a title, just
Oh.
like what I told you last time. I used to call myself the American Miriam, American Miriam, because I realized Mary was a title. It wasn't a name. It was a title of a priestesshood that I had done a whole deep dive into. Now it's the same thing with Cleopatra. It's not just a name. It's a title. And father loving goddess. I have said this before. This is the daughter in the story of the prodigal son who never left, because in the story of the prodigal son, you have the father and the mother together, and the father is the one who um tells the daughter. They say it's a son, but it's really a daughter, right? And he tells the daughter comes to him and says, why are you killing the fattened calf for him? He was out here running the streets doing this crazy stuff. Why are you doing this? And the father says to her, he has long no, he says to her, everything I have is yours. Everything I have is not some of it. Everything. So even though the father welcomed the prodigal son back, it was really the mother, but anyway, the father and the mother are one. The parents welcomed the prodigal son back. They did not make him king, ruler of the kingdom. He was just welcomed back into the kingdom and restored to his former self. But was he going to be ruling the kingdom? Was he going to have his bloodline in the kingdom? No, that it did not say that. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. And so Cleopatra was the last pharaoh of Egypt, and the Romans slash Greek society hated her so much because they were on patriarchy time, and she was a matriarch, a solo matriarch at that. They didn't like that, and then of course she took Mark Antony from the opposing rulers sister. And so it was a lot of drama going on. But she was on feminine time. The mother ruling, the literally, especially if you think about her name, father loving goddess. They knew who the father was, and the Egyptians knew who the father was. So they know what that meant. They knew what that meant when that bloodline took on that title. They knew what that meant. That their time was up. And so they went out of, they actually, what I believe happened is they took this calendar and they split it in two, because one, literally one Saturn cycle after Cleopatra dies, because she dies in 30 BC, one Saturn cycle later Jesus is born. So I my theory is that Cleopatra reincarnated as Jesus, because it was one Saturn cycle later. Just one. That's a quick reincarnation. because she only lived at 39. So yeah, when you do, especially she would have had her, because this goes into some of the anthroposophical stuff, which is what happens when you die and all this stuff. The Egyptians were really particular about what happened to them when they died, because a question I always had in the Bible was, why did Mary and Joseph go to Egypt? They were running from Herod. They could have gone anywhere in the world. Why did they go to Egypt? Nobody could answer. Nobody. There's no good answer for that. Every answer I've read has been BS. But this, they were going because they knew that's where Jesus' stuff was. Because remember, Mary was a huge magician. Joseph was a huge musician. They were Essenes. It was a lot of like magic, like going on. So they knew about all of that stuff. They would have taken Jesus to where he could connect with that energy, where he could be protected. It would make sense to me. And it's because that's where his last incarnation came from. So that's my personal theory at this point. And so it would make sense because before Jesus came, the moon was feminine. It was feminine in nature. But after Jesus, the moon became masculine in nature. And so this is why, like in my thread, I have it delineated between the numbers being associated with the planets based on the Cheerio philosophy and the PBR planetary numbers and planetary associations. And they're different because the PBR planetary associations is to remedy the problems of the Cheerio associations, because that's what Jesus came here to do. He is an intermediary. So that means PBR was a doctor, so he was trying to heal people. So he's not going to tell you, like, for example, the number 3 has to do with Jupiter, but for PBR it has to do with Saturn. He's not going to tell you, like, if he knows the solution to the Jupiter problem is Saturn, he's not going to tell you, okay, here's what I want you to do. Connect with your Jupiter energy first. That's the problem. He's going to tell you, okay, you're sick, just deal with Saturn, because Saturn is what's going to remedy your Jupiter. And for me, in my situation, that is a fact. My Jupiter is in retrograde. It's in a really difficult position because of the retrograde. It's a difficult thing in my chart. And it's not associated with money at all. Abundant. It's really, I have a very difficult Jupiter placement. But my Saturn placement, oh yeah. When I'm in my Saturn energy, everything works out. And so I have been looking for a solution in my own chart of how to deal with this energy. This gave me the answer. I remedy my Jupiter with Saturn, and I have Saturn in the first house. Saturn is discipline, structure, order, and stuff like that. What did I say the last time? I said I take these conversations very seriously. I put in the work. I don't. It's not because it's not about money. It's about making sure it's done right. That's how I'm able to tap into my own personal success, even with a debilitated Jupiter. Can you imagine what people could do with this information? I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you know, as you were talking with the enchantment of 35% of the people being enchanting and basically having humanity break free from the matrix. I mean, the easiest way to do this is through the calendar. And
Exactly.
it's specifically
Simple.
yours, obviously, like what you are providing. And so imagine now, like, and it's like what are the odds that the timekeeper is providing the calendar that is going to help people to break free from the system? I mean, you know, it's like
What
the
are the
as the
odds that I'm
days.
the timekeeper? Like, can you imagine like how insane that is? So let me just add another
It's
layer to this.
crazy.
Like,
Like,
let me add
where are
another
the
layer.
cameras? Where
It's
are the cameras?
they're gonna have to write a whole story about this. So imagine this. Like, okay, so I'm Orthodox Christian. I was baptized in chrismated. That's what they call it. So I was looking for a saint, and I picked Saint Irene. Now, The one that the Saint Irene I picked was a nun. She was an abbess. She founded a monastery and all of that, right? And so nobody ever asked me, my godmother, my priest, nobody ever asked me what Saint Irene I was talking about. So when you get chrismated, normally your god, and that's a whole weird situation anyway. Normally your godparent will give you a, a icon with your saint, right? And so she gives me the icon. First of all, she tells me this is Saint Elizabeth. And I'm like, my saint is Saint Irene. So this a whole, I'm already like, I know something is wrong here. And I had an aunt named Elizabeth too. So I was like, okay, something is going on here. And so I look at the icon, it's the wrong one because mine was an abbess. She would have been dressed like a nun. This one is a totally different Saint Irene. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Like, this is not who I was thinking of. Like, y'all never even, I didn't even realize it was another Saint Irene because I'm new to the faith. I don't know all this stuff like that everyone else knows. So I'm like, oh my God, this is the wrong saint. So when I'm doing the research on Cleopatra, I'm just gonna try to make the story short because I'm gonna have to make a longer video about this. When I'm doing the research on Cleopatra, remember I said she was with Mark Antony, which everybody knows, but Mark Antony had a wife already and his wife was named Octavia. But Octavia's real name was Irene. Now, why did these people why did these people name me Irene? Why did they bring me this name of Irene as opposed to Cleopatra? Because there's a Saint Cleopatra, amazing. I resonate with her story 100%. Not so much with the Saint Irene story, especially this Saint Irene that they gave me. I'm like, holy smokes. These people, Octavia, Octavius, this whole Roman Empire people, even interfered with my baptism. Like, I don't know where you even go from. Like, I don't even know where you go from it. Like, this is how desperate they were. They literally interfered with my baptism. So the good thing about this Chaldean numerology is that you can take a new name. And so that's what I'm working on, like looking at the numbers, trying to figure out what exactly my new name is going to be because I want to get it right. I want it to be private, and I don't want to have these problems with these different entities interfering with what I'm trying to do. But this is unbelievable to me. So I didn't even get baptized in peace. These people tried to force me to basically, I don't even know what you say, like devote myself to them, like become a devotee of Irene, who's Octavia. And I'm like, she's a whore. Like the problem with Octavia, just like it's important. The problem with her is that the Roman people thought she was a good girl. She followed all the rules. She's like married, like she's the what do you call it, like the prom queen that married the football captain because Mark Antony he was like that. So actually Mark Antony married Octavia because of her brother Octavius, which I'm gonna guess that they was like having some kind of incestuous relationship just based off these kind of trailer park trash people. So literally like the Roman people when they wrote about Octavia, they she's perfect. So she was the first female to be featured on Roman coinage with Mark Antony. Now Cleopatra was also the first female to be featured on Egyptian coinage, but it was by herself. So you see the difference, like still trying to force me into a covenant because a covenant has to deal with a coven, has to deal with a group. When you make a covenant, you make it a covenant with a group of people. When you enchant, when you consecrate, that's you and your consecrated object and the gods. That's it. It's a closed circle. A coven is a big circle. It's a lot of people. Like when you do, like again, when we do our fasting and all that stuff and our feasting, that's a group effort. But I be doing all kinds of stuff that's by myself. That's not a group effort, and I do it on behalf of the people who are trying to make it out of this thing. But imagine they tried to take me and my very personal devoting myself to my creator and insert themselves into it. Oh, I'm heated. Like, I'm in this joint sweating. Like, I'm mad. That's why I'm like so excited to talk about this. Because their reign is over. Like you can't come back from this. No coming back.
No, no, it's done for sure. Wow, wow. Yeah, it's, yeah, that's
Crazy, right? Like
I don't
there's
know
no
I don't know
words for
what
these stories. There's
yeah,
no words for this stuff.
I don't know what, like, and what I wonder is, what's their next move? Because it doesn't seem like they really have any moves.
They
I mean,
don't.
at this point, it's like the energy of this reality is becoming aware of who it is supposed to provide and serve, and it is us. It is
Right.
those that are in alignment. It is those that have been, because it's not like we just listened to the space and said, okay, we're ready to go, I'm on your side. No, it's like we've been doing the work when
Right.
nobody believed.
Right.
We've been doing the work when it sounded and felt crazy.
Right.
And so what's happening now is like it's very obvious for everybody to know, and not everybody in terms of humans really. It's just
Well, the gods, the
yeah,
gods, really.
right, to see who has been loyal to who.
Right.
And
Exactly.
obviously, for the most part, it's like everybody has been loyal to these wicked, distorted entities, wicked people that have been trying to keep the masses down.
Right.
And then there are the few of us who we have shown year after year the loyalty that we have to the Creator, to God. And obviously the loyalty that we had to ourselves individually in terms of not allowing our essence, our being, to be co-opted.
Right.
And now the shift is here, and it's it's like we are the ones that have the ability to actually to rule, to lead, to be
Right.
the royals that we were sent here to be able to provide the, I mean, just being able to you being able to provide the calendar is an insane achievement. And we're not even talking about all the other things that you have done
Right.
that are like even just as much, if not even more vital, and in terms of achievement. And um I mean, your accolades are remarkable, and I think that just says a lot about obviously your individual power, but I think it also says a lot about, as we were talking about the last two discussions, where we're taking all these different titles. It's like there's so few people that I guess are just awake, that are kind of in their bag, that like we have to do the load. Like we have to put the team on our back, and the way that you've been putting the team on your back is like obviously the blessings are going to just really start flowing now. The abundance, your ability to attract is just going parabolic. People are
It
going to
feels like
come
it.
from everywhere to serve, to provide. It's like you are the queen, you're the royal. And so
when
now
I
what you're seeing is like, okay, so now how do I move like
right,
Cleopatra, right? It's like
exactly.
it's like, okay, so they're putting the crown on my head. What do I gotta change? What do I gotta shift? This, that, because we went from out here in the mud,
Right.
working our asses off like fucking slaves almost, but we weren't slaves obviously because we were doing it for the Lord. But it felt like we were just like, it felt like we were the peasants and everybody else was just like
Royalty.
trying to, I mean, it's crazy how when I look back at my experience, especially when I was like in professional settings, it was always these people attempting to like, they didn't like that I just felt different. And
Right.
their attempt was like, you're going to be part of our system, but they knew that I wasn't going to be part of their system because
Right.
it was like I knew it was just a failure. And it didn't
Right.
matter whether they had all this money, didn't matter whether they had all these accolades and attributes and achievements, and if they went to that school or this school. So it's very interesting now how we didn't submit, and because we did not submit, now they are forced to submit.
Absolutely. And even worse than that, like something that I realized, like, again, I listened to a bunch of these little channeling sessions this guy did with Cleopatra. And one of the things that she said was that it starts with the education system, like the whole way school is done. And so I'm, been going through this thing because I have a 4-year old son, and I have been like, okay, he's way too smart. I'm like, my kids already go to a private school, but he's way too smart to go to a place where they're not going to challenge him. So it's one thing to go to a public school, it's another thing to go to a private school, it's a totally different thing to be basically like a genius and then try to go to a regular school. Because what do they do to boys? They label them, as problematic, and then instead of getting like challenged, they end up in the system. It's very, very stressful. So I have been like trying to figure out how I'm going to handle this. And one thing I realized about the school, actually, I was talking with one of the students, and she was like, this school, they teach kids how to be owners. And I was like owners of companies, runners of companies. And I thought about that. And I was like, no, they teach them how to be managers. When you said last time this is a startup and you're like a founder, that was a radical thought to me because I know how to be a manager. I know how to be a founder too. But tapping into that, they're two different mindsets. Managing the decline versus founding the new world, like founding a startup, is totally different. And so I have been thinking from the mindset of a manager because I have been managing so long, managing my emotions, managing my finances, managing my life, managing my children's life. That's a totally different thing than a founder. Yes, I founded my children. So I have to set the intention for what I want them to do, and then I have to hold that frequency until they achieve it. Like, that's a radically different thought than let me send my kids to a school so they can get an education, get a good government job, and work for the government for 40 years. Totally different. Totally different. And so, like, this is a, for the people who are embarking on this part of the journey with us, this is a radically different way of approaching life. Not like, oh, you can make a little change here and a little change here. No, this is a radical change.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was literally just talking about an hour ago about the school system and how the school system really has taught people to memorize and
Right.
not to think. And we have to think. And what's the beautiful thing about what AI is doing now is, and there's a few schools that I'm kind of associated with that are this year, they're like, we're all in on AI. We're all in on integrating AI into like the education of the students. Is with AI now, what it's basically going to increase is your ability to think. Because what happened before is, okay, so as a startup, right, you have to do everything.
Right.
There's not enough people to have someone doing all the different processes of a startup. You have to figure out everything. And obviously, when it comes to like our own life, is like when it comes to health, you can't just go to the doctor and be like, hey doctor, like what do you think is going to happen? No, you're a startup, you have to figure it out.
Right.
You have to basically get in tune with your intuitive system to figure out, to navigate what is the most aligned way to support your health when it comes to finances. But if you notice, like a startup is almost always on the brink of death. Like
Exactly.
it's like almost
Until
always. Mhm.
until is that until you have a big breakthrough. Like, you always look
Yeah,
like you're about
right.
to die.
Uh-huh.
And then at the last minute, it's like boom, and you
Boom.
just take
Uh-huh.
off.
Uh-huh.
The unicorn syndrome.
And yes, exactly. And so and the thing is if you stay in that startup mentality, when that unicorn hits, boom, you let it go, back to startup.
Yep.
So now obviously everybody's different, right? But what I have done is essentially is startup, unicorn, once the what or at least once it gets big enough where it's off to the races, I let it go. And I let reality serve that that company essentially, that
Right.
business, and I
Right.
go back into the lab, back into the startup mode for the next one, and then for the
Right.
next one, and then for the next one. And I've been on the startup mode for I would say the last 10 years. Now I'm moving away from the startup mode because I got the energetic power. Because
Right.
what we're doing when we're in that startup mode is we are showing I guess the world, the creator, the gods, the entities that like what we're really doing is we're building um these fountains almost, these sources of energy. That's what we're really doing when we're in startup mode. And so like
Right.
a great example is you with this calendar. Like this calendar is a startup. And so you're devoting all this energy. You've been devoting all this energy to the startup. Now, as this to the calendar, yeah, to the startup, as this calendar begins to take off, that's now going to become an energetic unicorn for you. That's going to be giving you an immense amount of energy
Right.
that is yours. That's your
Right.
that's your energy. You could not only does it give you legitimacy, and it doesn't matter whether like in physical reality people see that or not. Where it matters, you're showing your stripes. Where it matters, you're receiving the energy. And so
Right.
eventually we get to a point where we have so much energy that, well, you're royalty now. Because
Right.
that's what does it mean to be a royal? What it means to be a royal is to have energy, gravitas, to have
Right.
so much energy, not only to have the energy, but to be able to actually wield the energy, because those are two different things. When you have those two abilities, you automatically become royalty.
Right.
People are not becoming royalty because they are, as you said, they're like managers, like moving up the ladder, up the ladder, up the
Right.
ladder. But where's your energy?
Right.
Where's the energy? Where is the empire, the fruits of your labor that
Right.
one
Where
has
your
invested
wins
in?
at? Where your wins?
Yes,
Like the numbers. It's funny because like one thing they always teach you in like network marketing, because that's a lot of my knowledge about business comes from that industry, which is a wildly successful theory if it's done correctly, which has never been done correctly. It's just like socialism. It's a great theory, but it's got to be done correctly. And I've never seen network marketing done correctly, but it's great in theory. But a lot of what they say is, oh, everything is the numbers, but they never tell. They think the numbers are sales numbers. That's not the numbers you have to be worried about. Like that's not it. And the people, the old timers like Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar, and like the old timers, they knew that. That's why they were wildly successful, way more successful than any of these network marketers out here today, because they understood that the numbers that mattered were not sales. It was a number of people that you helped. It was a number of lives that you changed. It was a number of apprentices you brought through your system. It was a number of people whose whole life trajectory you changed. Those were the numbers. And the people today who are successful can never understand that because they're too busy managing the decline of the empire instead of being the empire or the emperor, as you know,
right, right.
you would
Yes,
say.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yes, they've been focused on, well, yeah, they've been focused on either managing the decline or taking advantage of the decline.
Right,
And it's like, yeah, I guess you can do that, but like, you're just gonna go bankrupt. I mean, it's a failing, like short term,
right,
you can make money.
right.
Short term, you could have a great time and this and that, but we're here to live forever.
Exact.
So what are you really doing? You
What
know,
they did with that is they made people have the desire to leave the planet. That's what all of this alien stuff is about. Like, look at this thing. Oh, we're gonna go to Mars. Okay, have fun. I don't need to go to Mars. My home is Earth. Earth is vastly huge. Why do I need to go to Mars? What, oh, in the Black Hebrew Israelite community, it's the brothers are coming to save you. Why do I need anybody to come and save me? I can absolutely save myself if you get out my way. Like, as long as you're in my way, I can never save myself. But as soon as I get your ass out of my way, I'm on the road to success. And that's literally how it works. It's the truth.
yeah, I like this. So I and so with the like, so I think exactly what you said is in the education system is teaching the kids, and I mean really teaching all of us, but really teaching the kids to have that startup mentality where
Right.
it's startup, scientists, and then also focusing on thinking and feeling. If you know how to think and if you know how to feel, you're gonna do fantastic because
Yep.
that's what you need. The feeling is like that intuition, the managing your,
Right.
as you said, but this is in a good way, managing your emotions, not allowing yourself to move from a place of scarcity or from fear or from doubt, but moving from a place of abundance, moving from a place of
Right.
fulfillment. That's on the
Right.
feels side. And then on the thinking side, now when with the introduction of AI, like you have to think about what exactly, like if you stumble, if you're walking and you look at a tree and that tree helps you to start thinking, you go deeper into that thought. Because usually
Right.
those random thoughts that come out of nowhere are actually messages from the Most High.
Right.
But people have not been taught to think. They've just been taught to memorize. So obviously when the thought, when the transmission, when the message comes from God, it there is no connection. So
Right.
it just gets stuck. And that's why I believe that what we are experiencing in terms of the power that we're accruing is because God is like, well, like there's nobody else. So it's like it's you guys. It's like
Right.
you guys are the ones that are getting everything because it's basically like imagine if you had the ability to invest in how I say when it comes to the Holy Imperium. If you had the ability to invest in the United States of America before it was even founded, that's literally what
Right.
we've been doing. We've been investing in the new reality. No,
Right.
nobody else cares. Nobody else has thought about it. They're managing the decline. They're trying to take
Right.
advantage of the decline, while we are doing the startup work to invest in this new reality. And
Right.
but the key though is we don't live in the startup forever. And that's the
Right.
transition that we're going into now is we're moving from the like just out here surviving basically just,
Right.
just surviving to build ourselves, build the 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 entities or um the the companies, the
The kingdom
energetic,
starts
yes, the
building the
kingdom,
kingdom
right.
versus actually being the kingdom.
Okay,
So like
nice.
what you said like was the thinking and the feeling, and this goes into Rudolf Steiner's stuff too, and the Waldorf education philosophy and all of that. But you have to add willing. Like there's thinking, there's feeling, and there's willing. So if you just go to a public school, they teach you how to think. Like that's it. If you go to a private school or some other kind of school, they may teach you also how to feel. But if you're homeschooled, if your parents teach you, you have private education, they also teach you the will. Like you have to have the will to be successful. Like it's not like, oh, I think I can be successful, so I'm gonna be successful. That's an employee. That's a okay, you came to work today, check. You signed off, let's give you a star. That's an employee mindset. The manager mindset is thinking and feeling, meaning I feel like I need to do this because I want the company to be successful. I want this, I want that. And so they feel like they should do something, so they do it. The willing is doing something knowing that you're looking at a sinking ship. Like you see this company is not being successful. You're investing into yourself even though you see no results. That's the willpower, and that's where our education is going. That's past the startup phase. The startup phase is I'm doing this because I know I feel like it will help my business. The next stage from that, like when you know you're established, you're like, I'm doing this because I know it needs to be done. Like it just, you have to do this. This is the logical next step. Like the calendar wasn't, I didn't start this with the idea to make the calendar. I just knew it needed to be done. Like there, I just, it's a thing inside of you that you just pull out. Like if you would have told me this is what I would have ended up with, I would have been like, why? Why would I do that? Like, We already have a calendar. We have 1,000 calendars. Why does any of this matter? But the willpower of saying, I will not let my enemies calculate my feast days is what pushed me to, I need to know my own feast days for myself. I need to know the creator for myself. That's a willpower that people have not seen. And that's why energetically this planet is like it can't handle this energy with these people on here. So like people are, so this is something else that came to me when people are saying now, oh, the weather is so unusual, is this, is that. No, what happened was they tried to put us to sleep in 2020. And so what happened was the earth had to wake up and say, hey, where are people at? We know there's supposed to be people here. What's going on? And so by putting us to sleep and putting us in lockdown and saying to people what, don't go outside, it's dangerous, you're gonna get germs if you go outside. The earth had to wake up and say, wait a minute, where are people at? We're used to having our people out here. What are y'all doing? And so now by trying to put us to sleep because they don't believe that the earth is a living thing, or they believe it's a living thing that they can control with their weather manipulation and all of that. Now you have the earth awake. And if they think the earth is going back to sleep, it's not going to happen. Not just the earth, the whole solar system. Look at this Atlas 3I. Like they still saying it's a comet. It's not a comet. Like it's not a comet. I don't know why they're lying about this. But even outside of that, look at these solar flares. They can't even explain what the sun is doing. They're always trying to like explain it, but it's like, no, I got the calendar right here. I know exactly what the sun is doing. Like the Schumann resonance went down. Why did the Schumann resonance go down? Because Cleopatra's energy had to come through without them, and they're spying, lying asses, seeing what was happening, peeking in on what her plan was. This was always the plan. Like, I can't believe it came together. You never know with a plan if it's going to come together. But this was always the plan for us to wake up like this. So the Schumann resonance had to go down because how much you want to bet the Schumann resonance is measuring that father loving goddess energy, which I said a long time ago because a Schumann is a female shaman. So I knew it was measuring the female energy. And one time the Schumann resonance literally matched my dress on the day that I was wearing it. It was the weirdest thing. It's like, why is it matching my dress? Like, this is weird. But now I'm like, oh, okay. It's because where are the father loving goddesses at? These people don't love the father. They don't even know him. They lie. They love Zeus and Sun Wukong, all these fake Jehovah's and whatever. Not Yeshua, but what do they call him? Yahweh. Yeah, but that's not the creator. So they believe that they love the creator, but they really love a false god. And so the real daughter, the real one had to come. And we did a fast for this too, actually, to restore the celestial kingdom. I forgot about that fast. That was the second, that's one we did in 2023, in the fall of 2023. So around this time in 2023, we did a fast to take for the celestial kingdom to be restored. And so now that is also playing out too. So we like, I hadn't even thought about all the work that we was just, randomly energetically doing in the background, and seeing it all play out like all at one time is kind of like overwhelming, I would say. But it's good because it's like, okay, let's move on to the next thing, because we have to be back in creation mode, not coming from the position of starting another startup, but building on the kingdom, because the kingdom has many parts. It's not just the calendar. Once the calendar is set up, we got to get into this AI stuff and these apprenticeships. Like, that's a huge thing. We have to train people how to run the kingdom, so that when they come into their own kingdom, they already know how to do it. They don't have to learn this stuff the hard way. And that has to be ingrained into many generations so that they can never run this scam again.
Yep, yep, exactly, yeah. I'm actually going through that with someone right now where, um, I don't know how it's working out, but, like, the ability to elevate energetically that this person has been able to go through the last, like, 3 months is breathtaking. in terms of like going from, let's say, being scarcity minded to being
Right.
abundant, from going from loving conditionally to loving unconditionally, going from being like afraid of opening the heart to having the heart fully open in a matter of months, for me is insane. I didn't think it
It
was possible.
is.
I did not think this was possible to have it go so quickly. And so what I have experienced with this person is like it shows me that like all the work that has been done, now it's like we don't have to wait years to
No.
essentially empower these people, to elevate them, to expand their capabilities, their powers. It's about what I've learned, at least in this scenario, is it's about like they gotta come in knowing that they are in the presence of royalty.
Right.
And that's something that a lot of most humans, like, they, like, refuse that. They refuse to honor the royals that are truly in this reality. But what's happening is that their reality is becoming so distorted and so misaligned that, it's like it's getting so dark for them, and then here we are, the beacons of light, the
Right.
lighthouses, and
Right.
they can keep ignoring us. That's fine because we got a lot of stuff to do. We don't really
Right.
we don't really need them really to do anything currently. And obviously, as you said, like eventually, as we start to, and this is actually going to happen very quickly, but like yes, there's so much that has to be done in terms of running the actual kingdom that has not like it's not for we can't do everything. Right? We
No.
did everything with the startup.
Right.
We were doing everything with the startup, but now as you said is we are in creation mode. And in being the kingdom, it's like, we got to take our rightful place, which is what we're doing now.
Right.
And in us taking our rightful place, which the calendar is really important. I mean, that was really important for it to be figured out. That allows us to fully um align ourselves to that. And as we align ourselves to that, like everything's just gonna start to flow
Absolutely.
way more easily than it was flowing before.
Exactly. I'm sorry. I thought my daughter was still up. Exactly. I'm looking at her. I'm like, who is that? Oh, that's the wrong one. Yeah, and things are going to move so fast because it's not like before previous calendars that we've had, because in the past when we had calendars, like those people were only telling them like the market days and stuff like that. This calendar also tells you what you should be doing on the inside, like what you should be feeling, what you should be showing up on the inside. So it's a calendar that covers the outside, like
Mm.
what you're going to see with the external world, but also what you're going to see within yourself. So, like, for example, what's today? The 25th, right?
26.
The 26th. Okay, so today is a 6 day, and six is related to Venus, or specifically Taurus, which is charm and charisma. And I titled it Receiving versus Grifting. And so when you're receiving something, you're just standing in a position waiting for someone to hand something to you. Like you're just waiting. But grifting is like what that lady did in the board meeting, the what's the name meeting they had today with President Trump, talking about now what's her name? Brooke Rollins. They have this whole problem with this new world screwworm that's already here within the states, and it's very dangerous, and it could take out all the cattle. Instead of talking about that, she took her time on the table to talk about her son. Now, mind you, this is a deadly thing that could kill people, all kinds of animals, and everything. She talking about her son. That's grifting. She needed to talk about that new world screwworm and what they're going to do to deal with that. That's what they need to be talking about, but instead they're talking about, so that's what the grifting is. The grifting is, hey, don't look at me and what I'm doing over here that's wrong. Go ahead and look at something else. So on a personal level, though, today is, oh wow, today is also a 6 day on the personal level. So on the outside we should be receiving, but on the inside we should be receiving. And I see that. I literally see that. Like I got stuff in the mail that I ordered. Like I don't even know why I ordered stuff. I don't have any money to order stuff, but I received stuff in the mail. It was just, hey, the stuff just popped up today. Of all the days, the receiving day, the stuff came in the mail. I had ordered this stuff from India. I didn't know when it was going to come. It came today.
Wow.
This is the natural receptive energy.
Yeah, Cleopatra in cardology, the card of the name Cleopatra is the King of Hearts, which is basically like the father energy, fatherly love,
Wow.
the you know the patriarch that rules with love, via
And her
emotions,
name means the father loving goddess. So
right?
it's right in alignment with it. Like when I say this stuff, like I'm sure this numerology will even help understand the cardology system, because I was studying the cardology, but again, when you deal with these people and the way that they describe things, it doesn't make sense. So I had to put it down because I didn't know how they came up with their numbers, and I didn't feel like doing the research in it to figure it out. And so I was like, let me figure out how they came up with these numbers and what these numbers mean before I get back into this whole thing. But it makes the whole, so look at it this way as far as the cardology is concerned. They have the number 9 right before the number 10, but really it should probably be 10 9, or 9 10 and then 1, or well, there's no 1, there's 2. 9 10 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Then, or actually above that would be the joker, I mean the jack, and then the king, and then the queen, and then the ace. That's a totally different order than the way that they have the cards ordered, because even on my tarot spiral, I ordered the cards differently. And that was one of the first things I had to go and dig out, because I said, why would they tell the story like this? So for example, normally with the pip cards in the tarot, you have the jack, and then the queen, or the yeah, the knight, and then the queen, and then or the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. That's the normal order of the court cards, right? But my court cards, I have ordered the queen, and then the knight, the king, and then the page, because the page is the princess. Because every queen, every king becomes a king. Every knight becomes a king of his own kingdom, and every queen, which is taught by her father, who is the king, to be the queen of another kingdom. So when you order the cards like that, queen, knight, king, and page, the princess that's with the king in the, like, the third one, because it's two court cards together, the king that is with the page becomes the queen in the next cycle. And it is a more of a flowing energy, especially with the tarot cards. So like when I get to reorder and everything, that's another thing I'm going to reorder, because the cards got to be in the right order. It's really not the king. The king is not the really the closest to out there. The king is really the closest to in here. He's the closest thing to us here. Like he's not out there somewhere, because the kingdom is within. Like you can't build the kingdom on the outside of you if you don't have the kingdom built on the inside of you. It's impossible. And they taught us like this whole thing in a reverse order. So they're looking out there for the kingdom when the kingdom is really within you. And so instead of working on yourself, you're building these other, you're managing the decline of an external kingdom when you could be the king or the queen of a kingdom that lasts forever.
Mhm. Right.
It's amazing. This whole thing is like unbelievable. Um One thing I did want to talk
Yeah,
about.
they're gonna chase us. They're gonna chase
Oh, they're
after
not
us,
gonna have a
all
choice.
the all these elite.
They're not gonna have a
They're gonna have
choice.
to rub shoulders with us finally.
Yeah, they're not gonna have a choice. I mean, look at this whole thing with this governor. that the Federal Reserve that Trump fired because she's a scammer. Like I I literally knew she wasn't a
Yeah, so
sorority.
what was that about? What's everyone was, like, up
So
in arms about the whole thing, and
okay, so if you've never gone through the process of purchasing a house, it's like this. When you buy a house and you get a loan for it, and you take out a loan, if the loan is for your primary residence, your rate is lower, which means your payment will be lower. But if the loan is for a secondary or some other kind of residence, your rate is higher, so your payment will be higher. This woman took out two loans for two different locations within like a month of each other, which is a whole nother thing, and said that both of them were her primary residence. That is, you can't do that. That is illegal because of the rates. Like it's wire fraud. It's illegal. You can't do that. So the guy Pulte tried to tell her, just like he's telling Letitia James in New York, hey, just go ahead on and resign. Just like they're telling Schiff, just go ahead on and resign. You know, you're not going to get out of this thing, but this don't have to be public like this. And so she has come out and said she's not resigning, she's not leaving, she's going to sue and all this stuff. But the problem is with me, because she's black, the first thing I did was, okay, what sorority is she in? So I went to her Wikipedia page, no sorority mentioned. I went to her website, no sorority mentioned. I said, okay, is she real? Am I sure she's in a sorority? I looked at her picture. She's wearing pearls. So you know for a fact, if you see a black woman wearing pearls, she's in a sorority. Like Kamala always wore her pearls. It's this weird thing that they do, right? So I was like, okay, she's definitely in a sorority. Like, so let me like do some more searching. So I went and looked up like I put her name in. Anyway, I found a page on the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated that was like, oh, we finally, because this lady, her name is Lisa Cook. She's the very first black um female on the board of governors, and she replaced Janet Yellen when Janet Yellen went to the Treasury. So I was like, holy smokes, she is in one of these organizations. So like the bigger picture on that is these divine nine, I call them the demonic nine. These demonic nine organizations were put as perpetual gatekeepers for black people. So if you as a black person wanted to do anything, you had a demonic nine handler that was there to make sure you didn't get out of line. This whole concept was based on a article that W.E.B. Du Bois wrote about a so-called talented tenth. But then he recanted it and took it back because he seen how it was being used and abused already before he even died. They were abusing this information. So he said, no, that's not the right thing to do. But it was too late. They already started forming all these sororities and fraternities, the Pan Hellenistic Council. So Pan Hellenistic. Back to this whole thing with the Greeks. Like it's all roads lead to those people who call themselves Greeks. Like everyone always says it leads to Rome. Rome is in Italy. The problem is these people who call, for at least for black people, is these people who call themselves Greek, who pledge loyalty to these Greek gods, because those Greek gods are not the creator. This, on a spiritual level, this has always been a fight between, not even a fight. This has always been a plan of these lesser gods to usurp the power of the creator. And they use all these different vessels to basically, again, larp in the energy of certain people so that they can get what they want and amass these different things that they want. And so this is a thing that has been going on like since Cain and Abel. Like this has been going on since the first blood was shed on the planet. This has been going on that long. And so I knew it. I was just like, so she's a scammer. And the fact that her website and her Wikipedia had already been scrubbed of that information like 2 weeks ago, they knew it was coming. So they didn't want anybody to look on their, or because I mean, a lot of people
Mm.
don't know this, but these sororities have been having a lot of problems because they're not telling these young girls, these Gen Zers, that when you join these organizations, you're taking a pledge to these gods. And I think what is happening is that these gods are coming to collect now, as opposed to most of the people you see who are in these demonic nine organizations, especially the women, they don't have children, or they might have just one child. Like they sacrifice their femininity, like that's what they sacrifice. And so these young girls, these Gen Zers, they're like doing the research, looking up these gods, looking up these vows that they took, and they've been renouncing these organizations after they get into them. It's this whole big scandal. And so they don't want another generation. And now it's pledge time. Like this is when you get your fresh meat. They owe these gods different. When people think of harvesting, they just think of like young children that they no. They also owe these gods able-bodied women and men. And so these fraternities, that's what they do. They bring them able-bodied women and men for them to jump in and out of. And that's a fact.
Yeah, so the fraternity that I joined in university, what is it called? So the patron, which I guess is as you're saying, is Apollo.
Right.
So what what did it so I have some sort of essential tie with Apollo?
Yeah. It's not necessarily bad. The problem is nobody knows how any of this. I mean, obviously your name is Emperor. Like you didn't think about
What is
that?
Apollo
He
connected
was
with Emperor?
yeah, he's the Emperor of the gods. He was the king of the gods. So yeah,
Really?
you didn't look into
No, I
Apollo.
didn't.
I mean,
No, I haven't
everything.
looked into any of the, I mean,
It's
obviously,
so
like
funny.
every so often I hear about these gods, but I don't know anything about these
No,
gods.
you gotta learn that again.
Oh
It's not.
shit.
Yeah, you gotta do a little research into this God so that you can make a deal. Like the whole thing. Like again, I now understand like a lot. Like you've been saying, we can't get rid of the parasites. We have to work with them. That's Apollo speaking through you, trying to get me not to take these people all the way out, like to be reasonable. And I'm like, okay, that sounds reasonable to me, but it does sound reasonable. So I'm not an unreasonable person, but now I understand some of the dynamics. Yeah, that's a trying to save his hind parts. Of course he is. Of course he is. I mean, again, I don't have no problem with any of these guys. My
Well, I'm a businessman, right?
right,
And if these
hey,
if these people can print money
this
and
is
do it for
a
us, like, yeah, we get it done. But
deal.
obviously, you got to have a big stake to put them in
Exactly.
order for sure.
This is a
And
deal.
right now
Like,
we're cleaning house. I mean, right now we're
exactly.
cleaning house for sure because I mean, there was like the hospital system with these private equity. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's
Oh
ridiculous.
yeah, it's going down.
But wow, okay, so yeah, well, wow. I really have to look into all of that
Yeah, you might
because
want to just take a look. I did a reading for a girl, and
so
she.
so to do a deal, like what is? I mean, okay, we could probably do a um. I'm gonna write that as one of the things to do for one of the future
Yeah, we could talk
spaces.
about that because
So what would that be called? Deals with
deals with
with
the gods.
gods?
Yeah, you gotta make. Hey, all
That's a
the
good one.
they're
That's a good
here
one.
to. We're here to work together, right? So what I
Yeah.
feel like, okay, so I could just give a short summary now that I see what's going on. I feel like this whole concept of doing the spaces together was their deal with me. Like, let's make a deal. Like, we don't have to be enemies. How can we work together? Because I had said a long time ago, these gods don't want to work with those people because they make them do stuff that is illegal, that's wicked, that breaks the rules.
Right.
I had said
Right.
that a
And
long
makes them
time
look
ago.
bad in front of the creator.
It makes them look bad in front of the creator. So I had said a long time ago, I don't think they want to work with them. They don't like
Mm.
working with these wicked people. So how else are they going to get to someone like me who has the capacity to say, like, I'm working on my contract. Because I like I said, on the 1st of September, I do a physical contract. I physically write it down. Now, if Apollo is saying,
Wow.
you know what I mean? If Apollo has set up this whole nice little relationship with me and done all this stuff and brought this stuff out, okay, I'm gonna say to the creator, man, leave Apollo and his folks alone. Let's give them another year to see if they are who they say they are. You know what I mean? Like this is how we're making a deal. It's because I was like, why am I doing these? Like, where did this even come from? Like, okay, I see. They want to make a deal. I'm always a deal maker. I'm this happens to me all the time. I wish I could. I know so many people. Like when I like figure out what God they're working with, I be like, okay, I like that one. Okay, like people who work at Jehovah, I can't ever like work with them. But obviously, people who work with Apollo, hey, we cool. This is the first time I've interacted with a person who worked with one of those type of guys, and this is not an issue. But I'm telling you, whenever I tried to work with somebody who had Jehovah, oh no, it was a disaster every single time. So now I can see the difference. This is amazing. This is amazing. Good.
Wow, wow,
Yeah. We
that's
can have
yeah.
a
I mean, that
whole
makes a lot of
long
sense. That
discussion
makes a
about
lot of
this.
sense as to, and then the timing, as you said, because September is literally here.
Right.
So there was a rush. I mean, and
It
what are the
was
odds
a
also
rush.
we're
Didn't it
doing it
feel like
twice a
it?
week.
Yeah, it
I mean, we're do
didn't
it was like, okay, we everyone just fast, quickly, calendar, everything just and you've been executing. I mean, you know, you're not procrastinating.
feel.
You're
No, I
taking
don't
the energy
procrastinate.
and you're running. I mean, you came back with the calendar the next, a few days later.
Right, the whole thing and figured
So
out
we
the
moving
whole thing.
fast. We
See, but
moving.
see, look, they knew they had to make a deal because I had
Uh-huh. So
already
well,
said I
right,
was not
right.
going to go through this again. Like I want to know who is who because I'm tired of going through all this stuff. Now I know. Like this is
Yeah,
amazing for
I
me.
was like, wait, hold up. Let's slow down. Let's slow down. Let's breathe it together.
Right.
Like maybe we could do something here.
Right.
Um,
Now it's like, no. Oh, Apollo trying to make a deal. That's cool.
I mean, so basically, like this coming fiscal year is gonna be like
Nuts.
one to remember.
Oh, it's gonna nothing you and me, my list is very specific. Like I mean, I make it actual contracts. Like I write down like
Wow. Yeah, no,
all
of
the
course. You're the
stuff.
contract lady.
I
Yeah,
am the
you
contract queen. Like I write down all my
uh-huh.
stuff. I know exactly what I want. I like how much, what I'm gonna spend it on. My budget. I got my contracts, and I also since I make videos, I write down all the videos that I've done for the whole year, all the subjects that I've touched. It's
Mm.
always so like I went back and looked at my list from last year. I'm like, yo, like if anybody was researching this much stuff in one year, their brain wouldn't be able to function. It's like I think I make like 100,
Right.
maybe more than 100 videos a year. Right now, I'm over 1,000 videos. I've on my channel's only been up
Wow.
for 3 years. Oh, over 1,000 videos. Like, no, this is not normal. Like, but now I see, okay, it's not normal. This is just the way that it is. So um, okay, now this makes sense. Now we got some answers. That's really good. Okay, all right. See,
Yeah, when you were telling me about, these sororities working with gods, I'm like, wait, like, I mean, I learned the Greek alphabet. We had to literally like memorize the Greek alphabet. So I
yeah,
was like, I mean, there obviously my fraternity has to have some god
yeah,
connected to
all of
it.
them. Yeah, all of them do. And again, it's not a bad. It's think of it like a mystery school, right? You did not know that you actually went through a mystery school. Now that you know, you
Mm.
can go back and look at some of that knowledge and say, how do I use this? Because what happens is with mystery schools, they implant stuff in you so that when you need certain things, it activates on. Now, the thing that you have to make sure of is that whatever it is you owe them, like you owe that God, you settle the debt. Now, that may be something I need to intervene for you for or whatever, but you have to start thinking, what do I owe this guy that he think he about to get from me? Because that needs to be settled and canceled. You've already fulfilled your obligation. So you just want to make sure that the slate is clean. Again, the first of the year is coming. Like this is the kind of stuff that you handle right now. Like I always tell people in August and September, you lean on your spirit team. Whoever your spirit team is, you lean on them because you want to make sure that they are the ones you're supposed to be affiliated with. That's why I have a whole list of 50 some entities I don't ever want to hear from again. because they
Oh,
didn't do what they
shit.
were supposed to do. They don't belong in my
Yeah.
energy at all because it's 3 years going on now and they haven't done what they're supposed to do. So nah, I'm not.
Can you send me that list so I can, they can work with me so I can then bring them back to you?
Oh yeah, I can
Be
give you the
like,
list.
Miss
That's a
be
good
like,
idea.
Miss Chief Sophia, like, I think they're worthy enough to come back into
Yeah,
your
I'll give you the
embrace.
list. I'll give you the list. That's a rehabilitation list. You know what?
'Cause,
That's good.
I'm very, I sometimes I give people too many chances, right?
Right.
But what I've learned is, um and especially I think where you're at right now, obviously you've had it with these entities,
Oh, I've
and
had it.
justifiably you should kick them out. And then it's like, okay, well, let me rebound.
Right.
Let me be like, okay, well, look, she's the bad cop. I could be the good cop
Right.
for now.
Right.
So show something this coming year. Show that you really, um,
Oh,
actually
that's a good
appreciate.
idea.
And obviously after that year, I mean, they're all that's what's gonna make this even crazier. This is like the nitrous. This is like the boost.
Yeah, this right here. Okay, all right. So we'll I'll take that line out. We'll give them a rehab year. I'll give you the list because because with Bardon's book, right? He talks about literally like he tells you they're used for. Like he describes them. And so when you ask him for something, you ask him for something that's in their wheelhouse. And literally, like it should show up. And so, like I said, it wasn't all of them. It was just like I said, like 50. I think I worked with like I don't know, close to 300 entities that year. Probably more than that. I didn't even count. I knew it was 50 that got axed, but or temporarily axed. But it was like 300 entities that year, and most of them were fine. Like a great deal of them weren't an issue. The issue was these 50 rogue entities that felt like they could just do whatever they want, and so yeah, they need to be addressed. So yeah, I'll make the list and give it to you. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
You nice.
and as we
Y'all men are so nice because moms. When you get mom mode, you don't be nice. Mm-mm. No.
because once as we start to follow the calendar, like they're all going to want to fall in line. They're all going to be very eager to fall in line because it's like are you going to stay with the collapsing system, or are you going to come into this new
Right.
one? Because the sooner you come into this new one, you don't got to pay the toll booth. You
Exactly.
don't, because we do have a very expensive, and it's increasing by the day, an expensive toll booth to get into the new system. And if you've
Exactly.
been taking advantage of humanity, if you've been not doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you think you're just going to get into the new system just for free, just chill, you're going to sneak in, no. No, 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 no. That's not going to happen. And it's
So
becoming very expensive. And I think this year is like this is like, as you said, it's like the last chance, because after this
right.
year, it's going to be, to truly get in, it's going to be very expensive, or
Right.
not
They're
at
not going to
all.
be able to afford it. Yeah, they're not going to be able
Hmm.
to afford to get. So it's really interesting because what was that in 2022 or it was I think early 2023. I had done a ritual um to destroy the demonic nine and all of their entities. So the reason why you showed up and had to be so aggressive about it is because he on the list with them demonic nine. It's all of them. Like all them Greek gods, all those people. Literally, he trying to say, not me. Don't put me on the this is so funny. Don't put me on the list. It's not me. It was them. I'll take you to them. I'll do anything. What can I do to fix this? I mean, this is like whatever it is I was doing, I know it was real because too many of these things are showing back up and saying, please
Wow. Right.
don't send me out. Give me another chance. Like
Uh-huh.
let me get this thing right. We didn't know, it's it's
We thought you were just playing around. We thought
right,
you weren't
exactly.
serious.
Oh
It's like,
yeah.
what do you mean? What do you mean you didn't think I was serious?
Right. You thought it's okay to have your people,
Like
because I know lots of these people who are in these demonic nine organizations. They have ruined my life. Like, you think that's okay?
crazy,
Like, I'm just
crazy.
gonna be like, oh, because I'm where I'm from, that's one of the things. Like, a lot of people are in these organizations.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
so these are the same people who I need a job. They see I ain't in one of their things, pass on. Let's go
Uh-huh.
to the
Yep.
next one. Oh, she ain't got no pearls on. Let's move on to the next. They do this kind of stuff,
Right.
especially where I'm from is an all black county ran by these people. So yeah, like I'm wow,
Yeah,
this
everything's
is
gonna be
amazing.
everything's gonna be different this year.
Wow, this is amazing. Because I was wondering how. I said I have no idea how this is gonna. I mean, I know we have the calendar, and all of that, but I'm like, how is this supposed to? How is this gonna happen? Like, I need $5 million to reset my nervous system. Flat fee. Like, before we could do anything else. Like, I have been saying this for like 8 months. How is this gonna happen? What is going on? Like, it is because I told everybody, what do you need to reset your nervous system? Like, we gotta reset. What is your price? I'm the only one who
Mm,
made a price, like an
wow.
actual figure with actual numbers. Like, everybody else does think. See, this is why, like, we're so far ahead, like, so far ahead. Like, these, even the regular normal people are not even. Oh, that's something I said in my video. So in my video on consecration versus covenants, I had said if the old 13 families is going away, we need new 13 families. If the old elite are going away, we need new elite. This was 3 years ago. Nobody was talking like that 3 years ago. They were like, oh, well,
Wow.
whatever. No, no, we need new elite. And so I said, I volunteer my bloodline to be the new 13 families. Why did I do that? What kind of nonsense? Like, now I'm like, wow, okay, I did the most. I may have gone too far. Just a little bit. Good Lord.
Yeah,
What I signed myself
look
up
where
for.
uh-huh, right? Yeah, right?
Ay, caramba. Like, people think it's playtime. None of this
This
stuff is
no, we
playtime.
like this is just the warm up. We haven't even really gotten going. Like this is, like
Right.
good luck, guys. Like, and they're trying to catch up, but they don't even know what like they don't even know how to conceive how to get their feet moving. And they're
No.
thinking that they're going to catch up with us. It's like
Mm-mm.
don't there ain't no catching up. Get on your knees and serve.
Right.
That's the best thing. That's the best salvation for these people is
Right.
like support,
Right.
serve, literally like serve what is happening because
Right.
they refuse to do it, which is fine. Again, it don't matter.
Right.
It don't matter because we don't need them.
Nope.
That's literally what we've been forced to have to do it ourselves to
Right.
the point where we don't need anybody.
Right.
And that scares the whole system because their whole system runs on you know need having people like us need them.
Right. Exactly. And if we don't need them, like, again, this is what I was saying. People have been trying to take over the system. I don't want their system. It's ghetto,
Uh-huh,
it's
right.
dirty, it stings. I don't want their system. So they're like, again, trying, like, even like I had this situation where I work where they're trying to get me to buy into their system. And I'm like, I didn't ask for that. All I asked for was this one thing right here. And what did y'all do? Something I did not ask for at all whatsoever. Why would you do that? And it's just been this whole thing that still haven't been resolved. But now I can kind of see like the bigger picture. They're trying to get me to buy into their system. So I'm like, if I get the money, I'm just gonna pay back whatever money they think they gave me, and I'm gonna move on with my life. Like, I don't have time for this. I didn't ask for that. Like, this is what they're like. They're so desperate, like, to get people to buy into their system. If we don't buy into their system, they literally have no other solution. Like, none. They don't. If they did, they would be running it right now, and none of it's working.
Yeah, yeah, it's very interesting. um so I guess So, we didn't really I mean, we did discuss the calendar.
A
I
little
guess I
bit.
guess we'll probably do a
We
follow-up
gotta
to
do a
actually
part two.
go,
Right, to
yeah,
actually
into,
go
like, the
through it.
actual numbers, and because I mean, we did a lot as always, but,
Had to
um
lay a foundation. Plus, it's really important for me to know what the energy is. So that way, again, it was so important to have this conversation so that I don't put that man on my list. Because he's going on the
right.
list, and he's like, no, don't put me on the list. I'm trying to help. Okay, so this was the necessity of that to
Yeah,
get that
that
man
was
off the list.
powerful,
Like, God,
for sure.
he's
Well, it's interesting because this week, and this must have been, like, maybe 2 or 3 days ago, um, there was, like, a blockage,
yeah,
some sort of physical blockage in my life that was, like, just dissolved, it just disappeared, and I felt, like, reinvigorated in a way that I haven't felt in more than, like, 8 months.
wow,
Because so I last year, like, I was physically, like, in terms of what I was doing, like, I was on my throne physically running the show, and
wow,
there was endless attempts to stop it, but there was such a force that I was leading by that nothing was working out until the end of that year, where it was like a really dark energy, really, really dark energy came in and just basically stopped everything. It just cold track stopped everything. And
wow.
then I for it must have been like 5 months, I couldn't do anything
Yeah,
because I just was busy alchemizing the energy.
right,
Because there was so much energy being flooded into my system that I did not have, like, it's not that I was necessarily, like, physically tired, it was just there was so much energy happening that I could do nothing. There
right.
was nothing I could
Yep.
do besides just alchemizing the energy, and maybe I would say the last, like, 2, 3 months, I've been slowly getting out of that,
Yeah.
but this week was where I felt it was like it was just disappeared. It
Right.
just disappeared.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that, and this is the week where instead of like, oh, maybe we just not going to get her to do this, they push harder. They're like, no, we refuse to let her go. Turn back around. You're gonna fail. Like, okay, bozos, leave me alone. How about I've had enough of that? Like, everybody else is getting like a break, and I'm getting more nonsense. It's like, okay, okay, enough is enough, man. Don't make me do something I don't want to do. How about that?
Yeah, this is the final sprint,
Yeah, this is the final sprint.
and it's like there's just this trying to do something, and it's like, dude, what are you like? What
Right,
like sit
right,
down. Like what's like you already lost. Like what are
right,
you doing?
right. Like,
Like
there's nowhere for you to
you really want
go.
to deal with the consequences of what you're like. It's like the game is over.
Right, exactly. The game is over. You lost, and I'm really sorry about that. But why are you still out here acting crazy when you know the creator is coming? Like, again, this Atlas 3I is not a comet. It's an object. It's an interstellar object that is coming here for these people. They know it. These people know it. They can either feel it or they literally just know it because it's in the prophecies of the books that they won't give to us. They know what this is. This could be that
Mm.
whole red Kachina, blue Kachina thing that I had asked these stupid fake Hopi Indians to, hey, come on, let's talk about this prophecy. Like, y'all, if this y'all prophecy, you should be able to explain it to me because I can't find no information on this prophecy, but y'all keep talking about it. So I need somebody to explain it to me. I never got an explanation of that prophecy. And I asked several times on the internet, like, because usually the way the internet works, it's like a ley line. So when you ask something on the internet, it puts it energetically, it puts it out there to everybody. And that's why, again, stuff like shows up on your For You page or whatever. Like, it's
Mm.
an energetic ley line. So when I ask a question, an answer must be produced. And I never got an answer to that. And then when I started digging into the information, the Hopi Indians was not the Hopi Indians. They were called the Moki. And the Moki was not the same as these. They, how do I describe this? They went into the caves black and they came out of the caves white or whatever those people are. They did not. They weren't even the same people. They literally just took their entire heritage, their entire history, and said it was theirs. Like just lied. And of course, once I've done the research on this, this happened all the time. They always was taking people's heritage and history, literally taking it from them and saying, no, 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 that's not the person. It's us. It's us. We're those people. Like, but you can't even, like, if you look for some information on the red Kachina and the blue Kachina Hopi prophecy, nobody knows anything about it. There's no details available like about this prophecy, because if you read in the Bible, when a prophecy is given, it tells you the who, the what, the where, the when, it gives you details. There's no details on this prophecy. Every time I've looked for it, I have not found anything. So when I made my video, I was like, hey, I call them Moab and Ammon, because these were Lot's sons that lived in the caves. I'm like, you Moabites, you Ammonites, y'all need to come out and tell me about y'all prophecy so that we can compare notes. This should be not a problem. Everybody still just talks around it. They never say what the actual prophecy is. And that's why I came. When somebody can't, like, if you ask me what my calendar is, I can explain it to you from the beginning to the end, because it's mine. That's how you know it's not theirs. These same thing with these tech guys. They can't explain to you from the beginning, okay, what is a blockchain and how is it built and where's the patent? They can't answer none of those questions because it was stolen technology. So anytime someone can't explain to you from the beginning to the end what it is, they stole it from somebody. They stole it, and that's why they can't explain it. So those people stole that prophecy from whoever, and I decoded it 3 or 4 different ways. I don't know which one is the actual one, but we'll see what happens, because obviously this Atlas 3I got something to do with it. Because did you know the Atlas 3I interstellar object is red? And it's like the third, quote unquote, if it's a comet, it's only like the sixth red comet to ever be seen. And
Wow.
yeah, it's not supposed to be red. They're green, they're blue, they're not red. Red is very, very unusual. That's why they're so freaked out, because they know what that means. Like I said, it could be the red Kachina. If so, they in really big trouble. They thought they was in trouble with me. They got the big guy coming to see Santa Claus, making a list and checking it twice. Gonna find out who's naughty or nice.
So, the you said the prophecy is, what is that prophecy called? The Red Kachina prophecy?
It's called the Hopi prophecy. They just call it the Hopi prophecy. And I'm like, well, what is it? Like, what is the prophecy? And it's something like, oh, when the red Kachina comes and the blue Kachina comes, that's going to be the end. Something that's very vague. And if you
Mm.
read the Bible, the prophecies in the Bible are not vague. They're very, very specific. And if you do any research on any of the prophecies, like I did this whole study on Zachariah's visions, there is, even though it's not a lot of information, if you research it, you can figure out exactly what's being said. That thing, I couldn't find it written down. I couldn't find it explained in any kind of detail. I want to hear from an elder, from a Hopi elder. They should have, we have all kinds of video cameras now. They should have them on camera explaining this prophecy that was passed down to them. It should, because if you remember, these people have shamans, they have medicine people. That's your job, is to keep the records, the oral history. They should have somebody for that. So my counterexample of that is this Chaldean numerology that I'm looking at. The guy that I'm looking at, he is not Indian, because most of the Chaldean numerologists are Indian. This guy's not Indian, he's Iranian. And he learned the numerology from a monk in a cave who said he wanted everybody, meaning me, to learn this information because he's getting older. He didn't have anybody to pass it on to, whatever. So this guy has this website. I'm going to send it to you too. I just haven't posted it yet because I'm still doing my investigation to make sure that it's legitimate. But he has this whole website where you can put your name and your birthday in. It'll show you your numerology. And he has classes that he teaches, and he has the software and all this stuff. Very reasonable, especially compared to Gary, the numbers guy. His stuff is like $5,000 to study with him. Plus, you have to sign an NDA. This guy's not
Yeah,
saying none of
crazy.
that. It's like 700, 600, 599 euros. And the software is like 32 euros a month, which is like nothing because this software, I was looking at another software, it was like $400. Don't, no questions asked. You can't even access it per month. You got to pay this $400 before you can even think about looking at this software. I was like, God dang, man, y'all gatekeeping everything. So yeah, that's how you know the difference. This guy learned from a real elder, a real monk in a real cave who had the real knowledge because he's able to present it in a cohesive manner. So that's how you know that was, I mean, he got the knowledge from someone else, obviously, but that was still knowledge he understood. These other people, when they give their prophecies, if they can't explain it, they didn't understand it when it was told to them. They're just repeating it. Like some people are good at copying things. Like again, managing. They're not creators. They're not inventors. They're not founders. Let's put it that way. They're finders, not founders.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. Uh-huh. And I think really to be a creator means that you are actually like connected to the creator. And yeah, everyone is
Right.
connected to the creator, but I feel like it's like to truly be a creator is that you have a very strong connection to the creator. And
Right.
obviously, like if we don't have a strong connection to the creator, like you're just gonna have to copy, which is what most
Right.
people do. They just steal other people's work, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with copying other people, but when you don't give them their props and their flowers for doing the work, that's crazy.
Yeah, you have to
That's
cite
just
your
absurd.
sources. That's what some bitch I know taught me. You gotta cite your sources or
Works
get the
cited.
fuck out of here. Like that's what she says. Like cite your sources. Like with if you're a real like student, you have to cite your sources. You can't write a paper and not put no sources in there. Where'd you get the? I mean, my dissertation is like 300 pages long because every sentence got to have a source. Like so I
Mm,
can't just like give you my thoughts on it. I have to find someone who said the same thing so that I can cite it and then I have to summarize it. Like that's how scholars really are. That's how you know these people aren't scholars. They're not scientists. They're not creatives. They're not I don't know what they're doing, like that's the real question. What are they doing? Like what are they doing?
they're just trying to be, popular. They're just trying to fit in. They're just trying to be cool, the cool kids. Really, what they're supposed to be doing is they're supposed to be serving.
Right,
That's
exactly.
why their life is so chaotic because they can't stomach like they're already serving. That's the crazy thing. They're already
Right,
serving this misaligned system by trying to be a cool kid or popular or fit in or be, quote unquote successful. Obviously, it's not working out, but somehow they think that like that doesn't make them a servant. So the
right,
idea of them coming to you and serving you, supporting you, like providing for you, like that's an absurd idea. That's an absurd concept because
right,
they honestly think that they are actually like super special. And the thing is they can be if they serve.
right,
Like
right.
it's
Well,
it's not such.
they're managers who believe that they're founders. It's like, no,
Yeah,
you're
right.
finders.
Right.
Like you're a manager. And so if they believe that they're the top of the totem pole, like a lot of people do, they don't understand willpower. That's why a lot of people don't like competitive sports because if you don't understand the will to win, you're not going to understand competitive sports. And that's what's wrong with sports right now. There's no like the people who are really good at it are being demonized for having the will to win. Look at Shadur Sanders. They're treating him like a redheaded stepchild. Like when that's not how it works. Like they're trying
Yeah, you
to
can't talk your shit anymore because somehow that's bad. Somehow it's like,
right.
"Oh, you're gonna hurt the feelings of anybody else." It's like, "What?"
Well, not only that is his contract because he don't need their money. He's independently wealthy. And see, the NFL got a
Mm.
slave complex. They want the good Negroes who gonna come in here and work hard for massa and go home and be happy with that little mansion they got at that little, ambiguous woman that they have
Yeah.
and with the BBL, like this is what they want. And Shadur's like, I'm already a millionaire. So because his contract is real specific, like the NFL can sell their jerseys, but he sell his own jerseys. And so people are not buying the jerseys from the Browns. They're buying the jerseys from him. They're trying to humble him because they don't want more people like him. He's out there on that field because he loved the game. They don't want people who actually love the game.
Mm.
They did the same thing to his dad. I mean, my friend, she's always talking about what the Cowboys did to Deion Sanders and how they treated him and all of this stuff for the same exact reason. Now they got the same problem going on and they're trying to do the same thing. He don't even need to play football. He never needed to put his body on the line 1 minute. He loves the game and he's good at it. And they don't like that. And he can't be bought and he's nobody's slave. Like they have a real slave problem. And if they
Mhm.
think they tried to get in front of it with the whole Kaepernick thing, but that didn't work because Kaepernick is a slave. So you gotta
Yeah.
you can't do that to people who really aren't enslaved. Like that Shador don't never have to do nothing. Like he don't even have to. Again, this is where the willpower comes in. Like
Mm.
they think that the feeling is the highest level of a person can obtain. But really, once you get into the level of the willpower, they don't know how to deal with people who function from the willpower.
Yeah, and
Like
that's the power of the nerd class. That's like
exactly,
the nerds that don't care to be respected or loved or anything. It's about like, am I aligned or not? Like, am I
right,
producing the results I'm supposed to be producing? And yeah, we live in such a misaligned system now that it's like, no, you're supposed to follow the system. You're not supposed to create and
right,
innovate
right,
and break because innovations destroy the system. I mean, and that's really
exactly,
literally what we're doing. We are just innovating here in such a way where like that the system is collapsing and the system's trying to convince us, oh, like you're part of us, you're part
right,
of this system. And as you said, it's no, your system, like it's so bad, it's such a
right,
bad system that if I tried to make it better, I would spend hundreds of years to try to make it better
right,
because the foundation, the roots of the system itself are rotten. So how are we gonna
exactly,
how are we gonna build anything with this? It's just not
exactly.
possible.
They need to just, and it's not even that things have to be broken all down. They just need to go away. If we go back to again, the founders of this country did a great job with the Constitution. All their founding documents are very well thought out because they come from the indigenous people who were actually living here and already ruling like kings. So it's not like they got these documents and they wrote them up and they're genius. No, no, no. The documents was already written. They just made some slight modifications and they said this is going to be the founding documents of this country. So the documents are good. The problem is these people can't implement them from their place of wickedness. You got to be a righteous person to implement this system and make it work. And none of them are righteous enough.
Mm. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, none of them are righteous enough. That's why. So what did they do to try to solve? I mean, this country is going to be 250 years old next year, and they for 250 years, they've been trying to figure out how to get black people subjugated. And it still hasn't worked. Every time, I mean, it's not just black people, but the people who are on the land. They're trying to figure out how to subjugate the people on the land, and they still haven't figured out how to do it in 250 years. Like you've had enough time. If you can't figure it out by now, then you need to just take your ball and go home because you're never going to get it.
Yep. Awesome. That's another good topic actually. Is like what because you're saying like take them home. Like okay, so the topic is like so so you're saying like part of what you're saying is they just need to leave.
They just, I mean, you said we can rehabilitate them, so Apollo got a plan to rehabilitate him. That's fine. They either need to be rehabilitated or they need to go. Like there's no like in between here because they have to get in their place, and their place is manager, but our place is not employee. So if they somehow have to be okay
Mm.
with that, like they can be the manager. I don't have a problem with them. I don't want to be this. I said this a long time ago when we first did the Take Back the Kingdom fast. I was like, I don't want to be president. Which one of y'all want to be president? So let one of these other people who
Yeah,
would be
right.
good at it, let them be the president. Like, what's the problem with that? Like, why? I don't want to do that. I want to do something else. Like, let somebody else do that. But they need to know that they have to do what we, the people, actually want. I mean, that's what the Constitution says. When you read the Constitution from this perspective of we, the people, being the royalty, and the government that they're
Mm.
trying to create is these managers, these entities, then you have a document you can accept. But the way that people interpret it now, you can't accept it like that because it's like, oh, we the people, but we're from the bottom. No, we're at the top, and the government is the managers in the middle, and the people at the bottom are actually these other countries on the planet. So once you put the order back, see, because right now they have, and this is the truth. Anybody can look this up. Look at the trade deficits. They had the other countries of the world on the top, them in the middle taking a fee, and us on the bottom taking a fee. Well, they were taking a fee from us on the bottom too. It's inverse. We don't need anything from anywhere in this whole planet. Everything we need, we can produce here on this landmass. We don't need their stuff. And we don't. And what they did was they took away all of our resources on this land and told us we needed their resources over there in order to survive. And it was never true. That's part of this like awakening process, is
Mm.
realizing we don't need Chinese steel. We got steel here. I listened to, again, this I listened to the cabinet meeting today because I wanted to see what they was talking about. I had no idea this country produced the quartz and the marble that they say you can get in Italy. Like, you know how they have the marble that's matched marble and it came off the same slab and all of that, like, expensive stuff. They act like you can only get that from Italy or, somewhere over there. We have that here. We don't need that stuff from over there. Like, all the finest things in the world, like gold, silver, diamonds, we don't have to get them from nowhere else in this planet. We can get them from right here. So what they did was what did my friend say? They took away our culture and tried to sell it back to us from somewhere else. Like, you can't take my culture away and then sell it back to me. That's unacceptable. So we're reversing it. We're saying this is our culture and we will sell it to you. We'll let the government manage it and you stay in your place at the bottom. Like, that's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, I think we might need one another space with, like, because so it's like I agree with you. I'm just trying to figure out how do we maintain that enforcement mechanism? Because like these people, these parasites are like just stubborn. They're so devious, they're so schemy, they're so they'll it I'm trying to figure out, okay, like in this new system, especially on the rehabilitation side, like how do we guarantee that these people are kept in their place?
That's where the education part comes in because we have to teach the next generation how to do this. So remember, I said a long time ago in this conversation, the silent generation lied about everything. So a lot of them were black, but if they could pass for white, they passed for white, and they never told anybody, and they took that secret to their grave. We can't do that. We have to teach our children the real history, like what really happened. They have to know the truth. That's how you prevent this from happening again. Everybody has to know the truth about what happened. And we have to teach our children how to stay in the proper frequency,
Mm,
um so that they're not because parasites can only come in where there's an opening, where there's a host.
right, right.
If there's no host, then they just go away. Plus we also have the astrology does not support them taking back over. When they came in, they had to wait for a very specific astrological point in order to do what they're doing. They don't have, for the next, I think, 10 or 15 years, we have a grand trine, well, a mini grand trine between Uranus and Sedna, Neptune, and Pluto. They can't overcome that. This type of trine energy we have in our chart, they don't even know when it happened last. It has never happened on this planet. So we're in times that have never happened. there's nothing that they can do. So you don't have to worry about them being able to come back. I'm more so worried about the rehabilitation process and making
Mm.
sure that we have a system in place to teach the next generation how to live like this.
Yeah, right. Because 'cause they're just getting taken out. They just can't
Right.
function. They can't
Right.
function in
Their nervous systems
this new
are
reality.
over the kids, their nervous systems are overwhelmed because this all the stuff like the Roblox and the skibbity toilet and their nervous systems are wrecked. We have to take them back, and I have kids so I see this. We have to be able to
Mhm.
take them back down to baseline, and we also need high frequency people to have more children. That's a whole nother issue. Like if you're a high frequency person, you should have six, seven, eight. My sister has 5 kids. Like that's crazy to me. That seemed like way too many. But if you have the resources, you should, as a woman, you're supposed to be having kids. Like we need
Right.
as big of an army as possible. That's why, and our great grandparents, they had 10, 12 kids. It wasn't so they could work on the farm. It was so that they could maintain the frequency. And so what did they do? They gave us these fake clothes. So and they raised the price of everything so people had fewer and fewer kids. Yeah, it's diabolical though. I mean, when you think of the vastness of what that's why I said it took them 250 years to get to this point and they still failed. Like losers. They
Right.
still failed. Like
Exactly.
they
It's this is
still
like
failed.
Mean Girls, with the L, loser.
Yeah. Like you
Like
lost.
you guys
Like
did too much. It's just too much. Like it's like guys, like really all of that for what? To just see it crumble literally like with see it crumble from people that are, like we haven't been given like any resources. We haven't been given like
nope.
any support. We haven't been able to uh be in the positions of physical power that we deserve to be at, and we still out here getting them on their fucking knees.
Right.
Like so
Deliberately turned us in different directions,
mhm.
sent me entities that they knew was horrible entities to trick me into doing so and still lost. I'm sorry. This is why I can't be in charge of rehabilitation because I'm gonna be laughing at them all the time. Like y'all are so stupid. Like, why did you think that was gonna work? Do you not know who I am? Like, I
Uh-huh,
am
right? Right.
I mean, I'm a child of the creator. So you really messed up. Like, you should have just left me alone and let me do my
Uh-huh.
thing. Like, and
Literally,
let me be
literally.
successful.
Like, fuck off, leave me alone.
Right.
But, now it's like, okay, well, now you gotta deal with me.
Right now, hey, now you got, hey, but you can't deal with me. Go over here to Crypto to Emperor. Let him like help you figure out your
Yeah,
little
I'll
whatever
crack the whip.
issues.
I will crack the
And
I'm ready to go.
you sound good. I'm glad you're excited about this because I was like, nope.
Oh, bring them in, bring them all
Like,
in. Like,
like,
I'll rehabilitate them. I
oh my
will learn
gosh.
I will learn what it means to rehabilitate, the rebellion. Um
The rebellion. Yeah, they need some help. Like I don't know what it is, but they need something that
No,
I
yeah,
can't
everybody from
provide
now
them.
on, everybody come and correct with you because they're like this disrespect that has allowed to happen in your reality is just nuts.
It's outrageous.
It's like, so
Outrageous.
everybody getting put in their place.
Yep.
And yeah, some people are gonna, start crying about it, but it's like, we don't really care about the tears. Like
Nope.
you had years and years and years to make amends,
Yep.
to come back, and every time you had the opportunity, every time the creator, every time God gave you the opportunity to come back and embrace such a beautiful being, you did the opposite. So it's like, okay, well, here's the karma. Here's the
Right.
karma.
What a bad set of choices. This is why again, to me, I people like that can't be trusted. That's why, again, that's why I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
do no rehabilitation because how can you trust people like that? However,
right.
this is why you have to be mature. Like in all the magic books, they say you have to be mature. You have to be mature. This is why I always say I'm not mature enough. I'm not because I got a problem. Again, my children, my family, my situation. I got the problem. I can't. There's
Mhm.
no. I'm not mature enough for that. Maybe 20 years I'll be mature enough. But by then, hopefully, we'll have a whole. I mean, imagine being able to use this AI to teach this younger generation how to be emperor, how to be queen. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean?
Right.
Like this is
Yeah,
this is
that's what
what we
we're gonna
have to
do.
do. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't even
Yep,
know where that came
exactly.
from.
Beautiful. That's you yeah, that's exactly what that's and it's funny because as I was saying, like, before this talk, I now have the opportunity to basically like create the curriculum integrating AI to basically like create the future leaders in one of the wealthiest towns in America.
Wow.
You know, one of the wealthiest uh private schools basically in the world, one of the wealthiest in terms of endowment and
Right,
just
right, right. Actual
capabilities.
cash.
They went from last year saying, "No AI, it's banned, it's this," to this year
Right.
saying, "We gotta be the top AI school in the world." And
Wow.
and and guess who out of nowhere? Because 'cause I'm not even, like, part of this school, I have the lever now. So that's why I'm thinking about,
Wow.
okay, well, what is wh basically, we have now access to figuring out what is the new education system gonna look like by implementing it in this school that the elites
That's gonna be
use, that
crazy.
the elites of New York use.
Right. Hey, this is looking better and better. Like you can because it's crazy because the school my kids went to 2 years ago, I said, well, what's your AI policy? They were like, oh, well, we don't have one. And I was like, you don't have an AI like in 2023, you don't have an AI policy? Like, and I asked the teachers, I said, well, what's the AI policy? Oh, we don't have one. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I was like, well, no AI policy. So everybody's doing everything with ChatGPT. And now it's too late. Like again, that's look at the difference. People with real resources, they got the emperor to make sure that their kids are at the front of the classroom. People
Yeah,
who are trying
crazy.
people who are trying to teach managers, they dropped the ball and now they're
Right.
going to be at the bottom, like because they have no AI policy. No, they're not even they're doing the opposite of what. And the crazy thing is, like I told you, I was been going back and forth with my son, like what am I going to do with him? And I just decided that after talking to his dad and like just really trying to figure out what to do, I'm like, I can't even send him to school because I want him to be a streamer, right? I said, what if he makes
Mm,
like, I mean, because he's got a really nice personality and he's fun and it's in his chart, like it's in his chart. I said, what if he starts making like $40 million a month and he gonna go into the school and what? Are they gonna treat him like a regular person or are they gonna be bitter because he made forty
right.
thousand dollars streaming last month and these people
Mhm.
can't pay their bills? Like, how is that supposed, and especially with a boy, you don't want them to, and you're a male, you don't want, if you get your spirit crushed as a child, it's extremely difficult to come back from that. He hasn't been
Mhm.
out of all of that. He don't have, none of that is even like in his realm of possibility. And I'm like, I have to protect that. That's really important. So yeah, what you have access to, man, that is literally like that's exactly what we need. That's exactly what we need to take the next step to make sure that
Uh-huh.
the next generation, because it comes from the elites down.
Yep. Right.
What happened? Look at Facebook. It started at MIT with all those
Mhm.
nerds and their weird Facebook. And next thing you know, it's at all the college campuses. Now grandma's on Facebook. Like that that's how it works. So being realistic about how the system works is also helpful. And that's a lot of people are not realistic about how things work. Like I'm thinking about what you're saying. Like this is amazing. This is an amazing time, an amazing opportunity to be alive if you want to live.
Mhm.
But a lot of people don't want to
And you
live.
got and you gotta put in the
You
work. You
got to
gotta
put in the
put in the
work.
work. And the work is not following what the system tells you is the work. The
Nope.
work is going within.
Yep.
And, obviously that means that there's stuff that you gotta deal with, and you'll deal with it in a high vibrational way. And I mean, I don't blame people because there's so much crap. There's
Yeah.
so much, distractions from the system. But at the same time, it's like, those that are the light bearers, you attack them. You go like
Right.
that's where it's like, it's like I want to excuse people, but at the same time, it's like, well, I haven't gotten any support. Like I haven't,
Right.
from the people that are going to be seeking salvation, every opportunity I gave them, they turned the other way, gave
Right.
me the other cheek,
Right.
attacked me, demonized me, belittled me. But it's like, these are the slaves. These are the
Right.
peasants. Like I
Exactly.
can't I can't blame them. I can't blame them. They're just doing what they're supposed to be, what they're told to do. The
Right.
thing is, now they're being told by us. And they're going to be upset. They're not going to like it. They're going to get annoyed by the fact that, they're having to serve and be led by those who they they negated and they attacked and they thought they were better than whatever the fuck.
Right.
But it's like, where else are you gonna go?
Who else is going to help you? I'm just wondering how you going to prop your system up. Like these people think they're going to build all these big AI centers, like these data processing centers. Well, what are you going to do with the water? Like with all the poison water that these things produce, what are you going to do with that? People are not going to stand for that. So you guys need to come up with another plan. Of course, I have an idea, but they're not going to like it. They're not going to like it because there was a reason why we grew so much marijuana on the land. Like there's a reason. Like there's things you can do with that poison water and rehabilitate it with marijuana that you can't do in other settings. Like there's a lot of things that can be done. That's why I said they're not going to like it. This is why Trump is talking about descheduling. These people are not stupid. Somebody knows something. Like
Mm,
somebody knows something. Like they're like coming to the conclusion. Like this is I guess now I'm excited. I was not as excited. I mean, I was excited to start this call anyway, but now I'm really excited because I can see how this is going to come together. Before I couldn't. I'm like, where's all this stuff going to come from? But now it's painfully obvious how this stuff is going to come together. And I think I'm really grateful that it's not me. Like, I don't have to do all of this stuff. Like, I can
uh-huh,
use stuff you
right.
can do, other people will come, and it's not going to be like the last 3 years has basically been me like front running the whole empire, and it's like I can't do that, and I literally don't like have the capacity to do it by myself. So as soon as I'm like on the edge of giving up, then here come the cavalry, like to relieve some of that like pressure of running this whole thing by myself. And I never said I wanted to run the whole thing by myself. I've always said everybody can have their own kingdom. Like there's
Yeah,
no reason why like people have to suffer, and I can see now how this can turn into something where people won't suffer in the process, because that's what I've been very concerned about as a feminine energy. Like I don't want to see people suffer. It's enough
yeah,
suffering.
definitely. Awesome. Well, yeah, as you know, like, I mean, it's things are intensifying, they're picking
Yes.
up, momentum is on our side. I mean, this whole education thing is crazy because I've literally been thinking about it the last few months, and I've always been very against the education system. I mean, it's
Right.
like I had to figure it out myself, and if it wasn't for that, like, I mean, the education system is just piss
It's
poor.
terrible. It's terrible.
But with the introduction of AI, it completely changes the game. There's no
Right.
excuse now. If
Right.
if you're able to find like anything via the AI, now it's about, okay, well, let's teach the human beings how to actually be like intelligent
Humans.
people. Yeah, not just drones that memorize crap because the AI got that. The AI can
Right.
do that. So
Right.
all these jobs that are about memorizing and about knowing like the specific procedure, the AI got that. What we
Right.
need now are the scientists. We need the
Right.
nerds. We need like the people that can actually like are in the laboratory running experiments, that are actually out there, creatives that are actually thinking about just
Right.
just think. People
Right.
don't think. That's the issue.
No.
People do not think, which is so crazy I didn't realize that till basically today. I didn't realize that people really don't be thinking.
No.
It's just whatever they've been taught or told to think. It's like, I have a health issue. Now it's like, I have a health issue, I'm gonna ask AI, whatever AI tells me to do, I believe.
Right.
There's no thought. There's no thought in terms of like, hey, let me actually like figure out what how to come, because the issue is like, how do you communicate and use AI? People
Right.
got to be taught that. And because
Yes.
they don't know how to think, they actually got to be taught how to think too.
Right. Yeah, you
So,
need
it's like we got,
prompts. You have to
yeah, we
prompt.
got,
You have to know how to ask the AI questions, and that is again. This is the. It's like they again they brought out the, but again this is old technology. Like you have to. There's an old technology. They've been trying to figure out how to make it work. They finally realized they can't make it work. They have to make it public because they can't figure
mm,
out how to make it work. And so they know that there's going to be a certain percentage of people who basically just do nothing, and then like the people who are not even thinking, and but there's also going to be a certain percentage of people who are geniuses with this stuff, and so they just all
right.
again counting on the fact that they'll be able to harvest the energy of the geniuses, and they're not going to be able to do it like the nerd class, like they're not going to be able to do it because energetically there's a wall. Like we put up a
Mm,
wall to prevent them from running this same scam that they always run, and that's why they're so frantic. Like they just don't literally don't know what to do, and there's no leader to tell them. Like there's no one to tell them, and now that's why they're telling people, we'll just die, because what are we gonna do? We don't know what to tell you what to do. We're what is that thing that happened with the like? Okay, we're the leaders, we're the managers, but the managers we don't know what to do either. So let's all like do a suicide pact and take ourselves out together. What in the world, y'all? Are insane, insane. There's no need for a suicide pact. Like you said, you just have to serve us.
yeah.
That's so
Uh-huh.
easy.
Right, exactly. It's like we do all like the hard labor of
Right.
actually like creating the systems. Like, I mean, just the spaces that we've done, like what we have been able to accomplish. And obviously the bulk of the work has been you. But like us two coming together, what we've been able to provide the world in just a few hours. I mean, sure,
Right.
maybe we spent, I don't know, 20, 30 hours in terms of on the spaces itself, has been like, they ain't doing
Light
that.
years.
There's just
They
just,
can't.
just no nobody's doing
They have
that.
six
And so
hour
it's like,
spaces and they not talking about nothing. Like
about shit. It's just, oh, the red, oh,
right.
blue, oh, Trump, oh, Biden, oh, QAnon, oh,
Right.
this. It's like, guys, get a fucking grip. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Like, let's build the new world order. I mean, we're already building, but the thing is, they can't.
No,
They
right, they
can't build it.
can't.
So obviously, we're building it. And obviously, if we're building it, well, then who's gonna run it? Duh, us.
Right. Exactly. No, we're not going to build it for you. See, that's what happened. We already had a whole world order in this country, in America, before these people showed up. These, I call them the Goldilocks Americans. These crypto Jews who were running away from Europe because they were getting kicked out of Europe. We already had a functioning society. They came over here and was like, "Oh, well, this is our functioning society now." Like, wait a minute, what do you mean this is your? What, we were already here. No, 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 y'all weren't here. Y'all came from Africa. What? Do we look like those people? Like, what's wrong with you? We were already here. So they just literally took an already functioning society and ruined it. So now their time for that is just over. Like, there's no more ruining of an already functioning society. It's just total like lunacy.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Well, okay, so I guess let's see. Friday we'll do another spaces, and that one will go more in depth into the calendar itself each
Right, to the
day.
numbers.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
it means and all that. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you everyone. Thank you, Chief Sophia, obviously for everything. And things are looking great. Very excited.
Yeah.
And every day is just is just like people are freaking out. They're
Yeah, they
sweating.
are.
They're sweating. They don't know what's going on, and they know that, "Wait, those weird people over there that, like, I've been ignoring, like, all my life, like, shit, I haven't talked to them ever, or I haven't talked to them in a while, but, like, something keeps telling me to go to them."
Right,
That's what's happening. People that have, like, long since tried ignoring are being pulled to reach out, and they don't know why. They don't know why out of nowhere, they're like, "I wanna go talk to Chief Sophia,"
right,
but I don't know how. I don't even know, like, what's going on.
right.
They don't know.
They really
So,
don't.
you're gonna start to see these people coming back, and obviously new ones too, and everybody with offerings, because that's what they should be coming
Right.
with offerings.
That's what it says in the Bible. When they came
Mm.
back to Job, they gave everybody gave him
Ah.
a gold coin, a silver coin, and a lamb, and hey, they brought something. It was everybody wasn't coming back with nothing. Like that. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, that's crazy because that was in the story. The one of his friends, this will be the last part because this is like I can't not end on this part.
No, yeah, of
One
course.
of so Job was out in the wilderness, right? He was dirty, he was disgusting, he had maggots crawling out his skin, he was down bad. His whole family was dead, his wife was dead, everybody. He's just sitting on the road. His friends, quote unquote, these other kings found out he was down bad after like 50 years. They just realized, oh, what happened to Job? Something's wrong with him. They go and check on him, and basically they realize that he something is wrong, like something's really wrong. So one of the friends is like, you just need to give up that God that you're talking about. You might want to just give him up. And so in the book of Job in the Bible, he goes on to have this whole conversation. Now, mind you, the friends are still there, so they can hear God talking to Job. Like, I don't know if it was a channeling or what. I can only imagine what was actually happening, but they hear the whole conversation. So Job is like, man, don't kill him, man. It's okay. They don't know any better. And God's like, no, I'm about to whoop these people because why they talking about me like that? And so Job tells them, listen, no, God tells the friends, listen, Job can pray for you, right? And I won't kill you, but you're gonna have to give him something. So all the kings gave them everything he
Ah.
had, but then when Job prayed to God to stop whatever was about to happen, everybody in the whole town came and paid. It's called paying tribute. They came and paid tribute to Job. So that's how Job went from being poor, broke on the street after being a king. Mind you, he was a king. He lost everything because he was just recklessly giving away all his stuff, and nobody was giving it back the way they were supposed to. On the street,
Wow.
dirt ball dirty. I mean, not seen a bath in years to back to being a king. It was poof overnight. Then he marries Dinah. They have 10 kids. And so and that's another thing. The 10 kids he had before was the same exact 10 kids who came back. Those he didn't have everything was doubled except for his children. He lost 10 children, he gained back 10 children.
Wow.
Yeah, Job's story. Yeah, that's what they need to pay tribute. So that's what that put that
Mhm.
out there. Now it's time to pay the tribute if you want to stay in the realm because the time is
Right.
ticking. My contract is almost written, and if I don't have thumbs up from some of these people, it's gonna be a thumbs down. I'm gonna give
Uh-huh.
you a year to rehabilitate them ones, but some of these other ones not getting a year. Some of these other
Right, yeah.
entities that messed around, they're not getting another chance.
Mm.
But I give you the ones that
And
can.
and these are just the entities, right?
Right, these
You
are
know,
just
then that we're
the
not
entities.
even talking about the humans. We're not even
No,
talking about the
this is
humans.
not even like I'm not even ready to address humans yet. Like we're gonna see how this plays out. Like
Yeah, the entities is gonna be interesting because 'cause they're gonna come with
that's
fat
crazy.
offerings.
They
They're
have
gonna come with
to.
fat
They
offerings.
must. They must.
And I felt the shift this week. I felt a shift. It went from like it's like it was like an intense barrier
Right.
to
Yes.
just it just dissolved. It just it was like I was reinvigorated. Not that I wasn't confident like like before then, but it was like I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm back to who I was, who
Exactly.
I've been."
Yes. Yes. I felt
It
that
was
too.
like there was it was some sort of test, I don't know what it was, but it was like, "Okay, we're like, I'm back.
Right.
I'm back, like, I'm fully
Like
back."
I feel like almost like I was asleep. Like when I listened to my video, I was like, I've been in deep
Yeah.
sleep ever since then. Ever since I made that video and I was getting ready to go down the Cleopatra like wave, they put me to sleep. And now I feel like, oh, I'm awake again. And now I'm pissed because look at what you've done to my house. Like y'all tore it up. Y'all had a great big old party. All the stuff you wasn't supposed to do. So somebody's got to make it right. Again, now it's time for tribute. I love it. It's time for tribute.
Mhm. Let's get it. Awesome. Great. So, yeah, thanks again. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll do another Spaces on Friday.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks. Have a great week.